Pittsburgh Knights, no LAN wins, always the bridemaid, never the bride. These guys were gutted when Krama lost a 1v1 for the championship at GLL, and they have a lot to prove here today. These guys
they have a lot to prove, and I think honestly,
when Krama
lost
a 1v1,
they are thirsty. They want to win. They haven't won a LAN yet, but they're a LAN-winning quality team. Very well be a LAN for them that they win.
100%. I mean, that's the thing. Every day, the Knights come to play every day. We talk about Sunday. We talk about Liquid has these amazing one-days, but every day the Knights play consistently. They just, for some reason, haven't been able to put that together into walking home with the LAN prize. And I think a 20-team format is perfect for them.
They can get it done in qualifiers. There's been a couple of tournaments where they've been the best in qualifiers.
And I think a 20-team format, it's when somebody goes boom, right? So they usually get second when one team explodes and does really, really well. When FaZe has 4 wins, or Liquid has a huge day. The field is so strong in this tournament, with the addition of Miramar as well, that I think that there will be some more spread out results, and I think that will be a victory. The field
on your screen are the champions of the first half of our tournament, MVP, who ended every day, 5 games for each of 4 days, every day. On your screen are the champions of the first 3,000 points for 20 games, ended 225 for a win and 7 for a kill, and they managed to get only 3 wins outright, but I think they came 5 times, second 5 times, I think. They just managed to be one of the more consistent ones. They managed to get only 3 wins out more than it. They're a real threat.
They're a huge threat, but here's my question. When I watched the qualifiers, there were a lot more wild cards. Teams that maybe we weren't familiar with, teams like 17 that were sort of like, okay, who are these guys? What are they going to do? So when you get to this stage, where all of the teams here are top players and a big group, can they still hang? They lose the wild card benefit, and now they have to stand on a uniquely their skill. And I think they can, but they need to prove it on day one.
MVP were really confident, but also very relaxed during the whole thing. We were up in the Players' Lounge at one point before we even started, I think, day 2, and the coach came over to us and asked us what he thought, or what we thought of what they were doing, which was amazing. Now, I think MVP could get off to a really strong start here, but they'll need to. They want to put the fear of God into some of these other teams. Miramar is where we're going for the first of our 5 games, and all of the other ones. We're going to stick with Miramar throughout today. And we're flying northeasterly up towards Campo Militar, and Optic are in the air without a plane.
I'm looking for these teams to look for a slow start and a big booming finish. That's Miramar to me. See where they decide to go. These teams, again, for the first time, a lot of them sharing Miramar. So they're going to be feeling it out. No one wants to get into that early conflict. Martin, are you think anybody's going to start to mix it up, or are we all going to be avoiding each other?
I think we're going to be avoiding each other. I talked with some of the guys after the scrims. There were some contests here and there, but I think they found themselves. And again, we don't want to contest unless it's a very big city. I mean, Los Leones can be shared. It looks like M19 and 4M are going to share that, maybe even Method as well. We'll see.
Down we go then to the ground with Ghost eventually when they leave that plane. And we have the delights of Esquire, and he's with Toby1.
Yes, we're down on the ground here, and we're getting reports from the sideline. It looks like PUBG. PUBG is what we're casting. Hi, welcome to the professional and absolutely serious broadcast. I'm Toby1 with the Squire.
Yes.
I warned you it would start really, really weird.
You did warn me.
We were talking about the, what was it? The moist towelettes.
Moist towelettes.
Moist towelettes before
refreshed.
we started this. How do players remain fresh and focused going into a round of PUBG? Moist towelettes are handed out on the plane on the way through, and, well, I'm already feeling very happy with a smile on my face. That is one hell of a Southwest circle.
Yeah, I was going to say, contrary to you, some of these teams not feeling as happy, Toby. Certainly our teams all the way up there to the northeast. We saw Ghost drop out at the very end of the plane and possibly going to be feeling the hurt now based off the rotation they're going to have to make.
Yeah, they're kind of in the middle of nowhere and have to go through absolutely everyone, but this is going to be beautiful for FaZe. Optic are already in a great position. They actually did a 3-1 split drop, so they got a lot of space to work with, but FaZe can control the northern side of this circle, but they still look like they want to go a little bit further up north.
Yeah, surprisingly enough, this split is not something that we're used to seeing. I mean, Valiate is worlds away from his other 3 members down there in the Valle del Mar area, but right here we've got FaZe. They were our victors from Season 1, going to be trying to make a repeat of that here in Season 2.
Yeah, they couldn't have asked for a better start, but of course, you heard the panel talking about the champions of the group stage, MVP, who are already going to actually say hello to Texas very early on. As I say that, Rafi, oh, well, Long didn't survive that long.
No,
sorry, the pun was just way too obvious.
Yeah, tough go for them. The first blood of our first game of the finals tournament going to be popping off right here. Looking around though, OGN going to be Entis going to be moving up a little bit close to Vitality, looting over here in this compound, just on the Minas Generales area. It's certainly an interesting area. We've seen fights play out here in different ways, but Mir's going to be peeking around this corner, just trying to get some information from his team, certainly spread off from the rest of them.
Yeah, he'll just have to wait it out. Like personally, it's just sad there's only 3 angry men left on the field at the moment. It is pretty well crowded down in Los Lagunas too. You've got M19 and 4AM down there, method of passing through.
Players remaining, but that might be changing here very quickly, as we do have Moleman from Method going to be pushing up on this church compound, where it looks like Diaz from Avangar has also opted to sort of take a loot location in. He's got the Scar, he's got the 3 times, so certainly has the firepower to put some hurt onto Moleman if he ends up spotting him.
Moleman hurt him too. Like he's just waiting in the corner. There's a lot of glass shatter. That sound travels for a long way, so Moleman wants to go for the jump scare.
Yeah, I mean, at this point in time, Moleman just has to lock it down. He has none of his teammates around to provide him that support, and here comes Diaz.
3,
He's going to be rolling into the church right now.
2, 3, 4. Okay, we're playing hot and cold game now. I got hotter, warmer, colder. Where is Diaz going? He's running outside to go. Okay, he's just leaving. Maybe he knew. No, he didn't know Moleman was in there. He would not have been looting in the manner he was looting if he knew Moleman was there.
Yeah, just a lucky loot path, I guess, opting to not loot the rest of that church and just got out of dodge. Probably didn't find anything because Moleman had previously already gotten all the loot.
How many times have you come in there? Yeah, maybe there was a small trace. We were watching it from the high cam. The movement already coming in pretty early, so Team Liquid trying to establish a good position. They're around near Avangar, and actually Abita gets out of the car. If Mumino and Keen can be a little bit down the hill, it may not have the line of sight for it, but the rest of Liquid coming in, a grenade or 2, and this will actually put Liquid in a horrendous position. In fact, James, this is not a good way to start, just ran over his teammate Abita, and Mumino puts him straight down. This is the punishment. Be careful of vehicles. They're a dangerous, dangerous bullet. Into the car you go, into the front seat, the taps onto Skoom. One more will do it, and one more. Mumino, no, he won't get it. Skoom gets behind the shuttle, the shack. There's James spins out for the style points, but he is in the middle of nowhere. He's got no other choice but to continue the drive.
Yeah, I mean, Liquid in just an incredibly tough spot. We've seen cars, they're able to take out those casualties sometimes here in the PUBG scene, but we do not want that to happen, especially when Avangar from the CIS is pushing right over the hill on top to you. Skoom somehow able to get behind the shack with those shots coming down, is going to be trying to retreat on foot to try to reunite with his other teammates, but certainly not the start that Liquid was hoping for.
No, this is not the dream for them. Skoom as well, still not out of trouble. Pinned down by Avangar, and he's got no real way to go. Can't really turn for the circle to come in. He can do that. At least they're inside the circle, but there's a lot of teams condensing onto this position. Knights are coming down over the hill. You've already got FaZe on top of the hill, so it's a real sandwich position of Liquid.
Yeah, I mean, they're so incredibly split, and with all of the teams, like you said, going to be coming in right now, it's just going to put even more of a wrench in their plan. Skoom going to be spotted out once again by Mumino. Avangar just continuing to rain down Hellfire on top of Liquid, and you can only imagine what they're trying to work with.
Oh, Mumino just... He had 3 bullets left, and all 3 of them needed to go flying somewhere near Skoom, but Skoom into relative safety for the moment, and Avangar's going to move off now. But as we see the Knights, they're the ones who are taking fire from the western side. That's FaZe lighting them up. Texas getting clipped a little bit, but they'll reach the compound quite safely. But Liquid do have a nice high ground position over the top of them.
Yeah, exactly. We're seeing more and more teams now start to make that rotation, as the blue zone will be shrinking in on our first circle. Almost 8 minutes here into game number 1, but now Skoom opting to get some engagement into this as well.
Sure. Well, this is that high ground position we're talking about. Skoom was able to get a kill onto Dragon. It will be actually Dragon going all the way down. Knights are having real problems. Texas as well. This is not what they want to have happen. This is another little battle going over on the eastern side. Ghost trying to slip past Vitality.
Yeah, Allergen, one of their newer players on the Ghost, he's going to be filling in as their 4th, at least for this tournament. He's their scout as well, Toby, so he's going to be the one that they're always sending out, and by virtue of that, he's the one who's always going to be taking the shots as well.
They just do that always. It's the new guy. Okay, you're the one that runs in there. Cop a couple of bullets and hope you survive. Let's have a quick look at this once again. So Scoom from down the hill through the trees. Pretty decent shot, probably 150, 200 meters, that one.
Yeah, not a bad shot at all. Didn't expect Liquid to actually engage that fast after that kind of chaotic engagement that they had with Avangard, but we can see Avangard able to reunite as the 4-man strong team. Going to be taking some wide shots across the valley at some of the members of Liquid once again.
Yeah, I love the traces we've had for a while now. Like, remember, just aim up a little bit more, and you'll find the right target. But FaZe, they've managed to establish themselves quite nicely. WTSG also with a great movement. They came all the way through the northern side of the circle, and they owned the western ridgeline.
Yeah, Cloud9 as well, moving right behind them, just going to be holding a position to the northeast of that. We can see Cloud9, they came off the Hong Kong event with a dominating first-place finish in that tournament, so very excited to see how they're going to be able to transition that with their new roster here in Kiev.
Oh, FaZe and Liquid, 2 teams that really didn't want to have to be this close this early on. Jempty and Mixie moving up the hill. There's Jeems, who's kind of all out here by his lonesome.
3 of our EU teams kind of forming a triangle at this point in time, and I have to guess that when these shots start to come out, Knight's already taking some casualties. It's just going to erupt into an all-out battle fight.
It does feel a little unwilling that Liquid are in this kind of position, though. They started their rotation, then just got split up on the way through. Eventually, they shall be reunited with their family. Gustav copying a couple of shots. That's Welcome to South George getting involved, seeing FaZe's movements.
Our other EU team going to be joining in for this. So make why 3 when you excuse me, when you can have 4, right?
Sure.
You know.
Yeah. This is the American supersize me moment,
okay.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, McDonald's supersize it, and here it comes. Welcome to South George. Vard and the rest of the crew going to be trying to make their way in. Certainly, they're hearing all of these shots. They're seeing some of the movement happening around the map, but they need to be careful here up on this hill. They've got the good elevated advantage to work with, but with so many teams going to be crashing in now, specifically right now, when the blue zone is almost done with that first transition, they're going to have to keep their eyes open, watch those angles.
Yeah, but they want to still come down. They did, I believe, see the drop land down, so that's what Vard is already moving over for. Let everyone else play it. They can play the range game and just hold the western side, and the east will start to condense. You've got Ghost, you've got Genji, all moving in from the eastern side too.
Yeah, and then up to the north, we also have a few teams starting to make those late rotations in, and it's going to be MVP right next to Tempo Storm, 2 very dominant teams, especially here in this tournament. We saw what MVP was able to do in our qualifying stage, and if you're one of those teams that got the invite to the finals, you got to be worried about those guys.
Yep. Well, as long as they can get in unscathed with the circle pressuring in, both Tempo Storm and MVP may find themselves battling around Monty. In fact, I'm seeing Tempo Storm actually dismounting from their vehicles. But this cannot last much longer.
Yeah, it certainly can't. The circle is about to close, so our second circle will be popping here. It's going to be giving a lot of information to these teams as to where their next locations, where their next rotations are going to be taking them.
I feel that it's middle. I didn't even get a chance to let my feelings go. Cut off mid-session. I got pulled off the couch. Everyone else is taking a very long time. Now MVP will move WTSG. They're going to come inside. Interesting just how much you want to center now. Method, M19, Vanguard are probably in the best positions for this new zone.
Yeah, really, it is a favorable position for them to be in. They opted to get in there early on, and it's really going to be paying off, at least for the time being. Rotation's going to be coming out, though, recognizing the fact that this circle is going to be absolutely crowded, given that the southern part of this circle is likely going to shift out of play as we continue on.
Oh, poor Liquid. Why do they always have to drive through the middle of absolutely everybody? Vanguard want to have a crack at that Scoom you see on your screen, trying to slip through, but thanks to actually Vanguard getting shot from Team Liquid on the west, on the eastern hill. They, I'm sorry, on the western hill, there's only one player. They get through. Moody won't be so lucky. Vard opens up.
Yeah, Cloud9 taking some casualties in this transition, specifically from Welcome to South George as well as Optic. We saw that Nerf was dropped almost immediately. Moody going to be taking a lot of damage as well. These guys just have to try to get safely down south. This is not the time of the game when you want to be going out, when you want to be losing these casualties.
Nerf actually got removed. He actually got totally gunned down, so Optic able to claim 1 kill so far. Everything counts, 7 points per kill.
That's right, yeah. With how close the scores were in our qualifiers, we certainly know that 7 points per kill can mean a whole difference.
Is that actually Scoom on the other side of the hill? He's down. He's down the hill. That looks a little too close, but the mini-map reveals all.
Yes, it does.
Samty who wants to run away, not wanting to get involved in that optic fight.
Certainly not. Entis going to be positioning themselves right here. Still 4-men strong. They have Christus and Yak going to be pushing out a little bit further than them, trying to get some more information for their 2 trailing players, Xiangjang and Mira.
Yeah, it's the slow play. No need to really risk yourself just yet. Everyone's kind of trading off the early kills, but you need to have great fire, well, fire superiority. As I see SLRs, I see K98s, SKSs, it's just everything which Tempo Storm can just play from range. And they could just do it slowly too. Entis is the only one who's really going to contest them for the northern side of the circle.
Yeah, Tempo Storm just going to have to be able to walk in from that northern position. Vitality over here on this church going to be trying to look, and the kill feed is absolutely lighting up. We saw FaZe in it, but really a Nuctive going to be taking out one of his members from a Vanguard Keen. So the vehicle is going to be claiming some casualties here in game number 1.
Yeah, luckily there's no one to instantly try and capitalize on Keen's mistake, but Fuzzface needs a pickup, and they are sending the support Mixie bike riding over to reach his friend who was alone on the hilltop compound.
Yeah, they're going to be safe for the time being, but as things progress, 14 minutes here in game number 1, they're going to have to start worrying about where these third parties' engagements are going to be coming from. Certainly Welcome to South Georgia was posturing themselves on top of that hill, trying to spot out any of the members around them, but Moody trying to make his own transition back up the way that they just came.
Okay, he's dug himself a hole. James already feeling it. You could see the grenade come up so early on. I was like, well, okay, Moody, if you want to come in close, that car's really on fire already. The grenade will drop it down lower, and Moody is just getting the hell out. He's already caught fire from, I think, 3 different squads to get to this position.
Yeah, he's incredibly separated off to the east from the rest of his team. Certainly. We saw Nerf drop down early, so just K-Mine and Stab off to the west, going to be holding their position, trying to see what they can do.
Here's that northern fight. So Tempo Storm and just tried to get through. They already lost 1. And they cannot afford to lose any more. Tempo Storm are very securely on that northern compound, but that won't stop Entis from taking the building across the road from them. Mira has already moved over. But that's why Tempo Storm, they flank out, they get a nice wider angle so they can see if they can get a position to shoot into Yak.
Yeah, these teams were sort of taking the same rotation path. Oh, actually, Liquid going to be rotating out, sending James on a flank play, trying to spot out Moody right now.
Yeah, they can't leave Moody to be there, but then again, it's Bahawaka who's able to get the shot in. Came up to say hello, so Team Liquid expending a lot of grenades to try and find this kill, but it's just the rogue Optic player who chalk up the second kill for Optic.
Yeah, if there's anything we know about Optic, that is their bread and butter. That's where they like to land, so they're going to be protecting it accordingly. Zampa, though, able to find or actually connected on with the AKM by Yak, so OG and Entis, they continue to just ride along the eastern side of Tempo as they make their way south.
Yeah, that was that flank attempt. Entis wanted to ensure that Tempo Storm was not able to get around them, so at least they got a knockdown, but Tempo Storm, they cannot clean up the mess that is on the northern side. The circle is about to finish its encroachment, and then we'll get the new one. We'll see who really has to move hard. Most of the circle is pretty well populated apart from the southwest. Everything is... Maybe Entis are able to connect. There's not a lot of armor when you're on that bike, but Voxer can still make it over.
Yeah, and the question is, with Entis taking all of those shots, did that give Tempo Storm maybe the indication that that was their opportunity to rotate out of that northern position and skate by without taking too much damage in the process? FaZe still positioning themselves on top of this hill. We can see they got... Gustav QQ going to be subbing in for their previous 4th member, Haxede.
Oh, Knights, occupied. Don't walk in, it smells. They are locked in position. So Avanga able to have that nice floater on the hill.
Yeah, it's been incredibly tough for teams trying to crash in late. Pretty much every building that has been crashed on in the mid to late game has been occupied, and teams are really feeling the brunt of that as soon as they roll up, almost immediately getting squad wiped.
Yeah. I just like the nice split with this everything coming in. Meanwhile, we go on board with Welcome to South George. Optic, they've bounced out a couple of times hillside. They know Optic exactly where they are. That's why this grenade pops on down a little bit short. Separated from his teammate, but Larson loves to be this nice quick pusher. Trying to find the lack of Hyper. Cannot get a second, however. gets shot up, and it's actually Liquid. Larson was expecting. Not only is he knocked, he's brought down by James.
Yeah, certainly, but this might be giving Optic actually the opportunity to create such an ultimate pinch position. A lot of damage in return from Liquid as well.
Moleman, he actually had the line. This has been the engagement on the side. These like suicide. No wonder the team's left to just do the preoccupied. But damn, you need some of Defilade to really hide in here. Targets.
Yeah, Method actually. Being Miramar where all of the action starts to a rim mark.
Yeah, as that circle also brings everybody together. Finally, Rooster going to get involved in this game. They're just apart from just, well, you know, collecting loot that's going to drop for them. That'll be nice. Maybe doesn't want to, as we see Raffi, those traces flying down towards him. MK14. Yeah, all right, you'll take it if you want it.
Yeah, but the main prize is going to be that level 3 helmet, level 3 vest. Certainly that gives you so much more of an advantage when you walk into these engagements. We talked about it with Toffees last night. I mean, Toffees really loves the level 3 vest. He talks about how it's it can almost give you a second chance in engagements.
Yeah, as opposed to just the level 2s. It was a great change ever since they only started putting them in the loot drops. But the circle is almost finished condensing. Everyone is pretty much in. Just a couple of floaters. I'm mainly looking at you, Loki, who has to come in from the south corner. But everything else is pretty well set. Vanguard, they're still split up. Diaz is their roamer, as you can see the map at the moment. So Vanguard in probably the most central compound, if we don't include the method one as well.
Fourth circle going to be approaching right now, and where will it be taking us? Up to the northeast yet once again. That's been the theme of these circle shifts here in game number 1, and Avangard going to be in a dominant position if they reunite as 4 to hold off the pushes coming from the southwest.
Man, how hard can you really push this? Like, you look at Welcome to South George, MVP and FaZe having to push in from the western side. It's down a huge gully, and if they do it, they'll come into Entis' line of fire. Same with the Vanguard. Liquid already want to move up, but the only place they could really move into is already occupied.
VAR going to be rolling up on this hill where FaZe has been previously holding. Mixie taking so much damage from across the way, going to be dropped down to about 40% HP. Just continuing to retreat. Baja Waka going to be taken down from our other North American team, Cloud9's K-Mind.
Yeah, they're kind of in a horrible position. FaZe, I think they still want to come down, but with Welcome to South George looking around the back, FaZe, no, they can't just freely move. Fuzzface shows his head for half a second. Does not want to show off for much longer because that's the AWP of Gaxi looking for the target. Optic is still cleaning up the rest of Cloud9. As Stab is knocked down, whoop, Gaxi copping a bullet from the side. Stab trying to move into cover, but that will not happen.
Yeah, Valier going to be able to spot him and take him down and out with that M416. Gaxi going to be rotating off of this hill, though, trying to avoid the shots that he was previously taking from FaZe and across the way from Avangard, but he's going to be rolling around with VAR directly into Liquid if they continue on to the east. Ghost, though, presenting themselves as a direct threat on the southern side of this next circle.
Here comes Genji with their roll, and they're not inside just yet, but MVP right underneath WTSG, and that's not going to be their only problem. They've got a lot more on the way, because if they keep on driving, they'll go into Liquid, so they have to seemingly pull up, but they know they have to go further forward, or else they'll never get inside the circle. MVP with 2 knocked. Vard comes in for 1 finish, and he'll look for the second as well.
Youngtan going to be dropped almost immediately, Pang following suit as Welcome to South George just continues to try to hold this hill as 2 members strong. We saw them lose 2 very early on. So for what they've been able to do, given their position in this circle, it's actually pretty good, but they have a long way ahead of them to make it up to the northeast, inside of the safety of zone number 4.
Genji, you can see them down there as well. They're not totally inside the circle, so M19 was looking for an angle if they could possibly find to knock them off, but Avanga, Diaz, oh, this is the advantage of having this third floater. That's a very long grenade. It won't connect. Now MVP, Seed is the last remaining player rotating up. Are they going to be the first team eliminated? Vard is going a long way around, and yep, there it is. Seed should be dropped, so MVP goes out in 16th position.
Our strongest team from the qualifier is actually going to be dropped out. I mean, this is not what we expected. This is not what MVP expected. So we're going to see some shifts coming out from them in games 2 through 5.
Looks like Gaxi couldn't do that full run. I said it was driving around, but he gets knocked out by the circle. And Cloud9 as well. K-Mind will be the final one to drop for him. So 15th position for C9. FaZe still very, well, they're happy with the position they've been able to claim. with the Vanguard being distracted so much up on the hillside, especially now they've actually totally lost Keen. FaZe were able to secure that north or that western side of the circle.
Absolutely. Gen G able to rotate over to the western side of Ghost, but they're going to be squaring off right now. We can see Turtle with the M16 trying to pop off at Chelator, but he needs to retreat back down this hill because certainly the other 3 members of Gen G are going to be looking his direction, and they've got some powerful guns in their arsenal.
That is optimistic to say the least. He'll get off the bike, but Samty puts him down. There goes Optic. One knocked outside the circle, the other one just coming into the waiting arms of Liquid, who could at least put their heads up for a second. So 4 AM as well as the Vanguard stopped shooting at them so they could find the kill.
Yep, Liquid 3 men strong. We saw them lose the Biza early on in that bit of a car chaos when Vanguard was popping off shots. But 4 AM now going to be engaging directly on top of Avangard, who previously held a dominant hold on this circle.
This is perfect for Liquid. It actually got some opportunities to push in further while we're looking at the battle between Gen G as well as Ghost. The never-ending struggle to stay inside the zone. That first aid kit's going to be close. I don't know if it's just going to be enough. Barely. On 5% now runs over the hill. Simpson wants to get involved. Loki dropped Turtle doing the work. And he's going to get one. Cannot get the second, however. Ghost eliminated out. Gen G will have a little bit of time to pick themselves up and then run back in, but not a lot of time.
Fuzzface going to be rolling on top of this little bit of hill, trying to find Inuctive, but it's going to be Inuctive finding Fuzzface first with the M416. Welcome to South George, going to be eliminated as well as Vard goes down to the blue zone.
This has just been such a hard pinch. The rest of FaZe are coming over. Inuctive needs to go down. Fuzzface is in front of him. M19 doing their own run at the moment. But 4 AM have a great line of fire over towards them. But back towards the FaZe battle. Inuctive will finally be brought down. Fuzzface did go all the way out. So they'll be down to 3 players for FaZe. And the circle It's already going to push us once again. 5 seconds before we start to constrict.
Yeah, Nuctive able to do actually quite a bit of work to FaZe right there. He got a knock on the Mixie right before he went down himself. So certainly FaZe is going to be losing a bit in terms of attrition as they make their way into this one of their mid to final game circles. But it's really 4 AM. CPT going to be spotting out these members of Gen G. Loki going to be going down. Simpson going to be going down as well. And with the blue zone pushing on their back, Toby, I'm sort of fearful as to whether or not they're even going to be able to recover off of this.
There is no fear. It is a certainty. Chelator can go absolutely nowhere. He's got one tree for cover before AM. They are moving around the ridgeline, and this is also their natural progression anyway. They just want to run into the circle, and Chelator brought down by CPT, and that is Gen G out in 11th.
You know, you want to think these are such strong teams going out early, but when you look at the entirety of the roster, the lineups here for our finals, every team in here is a competitor. These guys are going to be putting it all on the line to try to advance themselves into these top positions to try to take home one of our grand prizes.
James and Samty separated up. James kind of like broke his vape, and now the smoke's gone everywhere. All he can do is just hide and hope the FaZe don't find him. Mole Man brought down as well. 4 AM. They are just in a great position, finding all lines of fire in every single team.
Specifically on the method, I mean, I feel like these guys have magnets in their pockets because they met in the early game, they took one another out, they had trades left and right, and now they've reunited once again.
Oh, finally, James is found by Gustav. This leaves only one Team Liquid player left really standing. This is crawling. I don't consider this standing.
Yeah, definitely crawling, and that's all you can do at this point in time. Mixie's grenade going to be following it up, taking out James here, and 10 teams remaining, 23 players alive. FaZe just going to continue to push up this hill, but they need to worry about 4 AM directly to the north, as well as Method, who's going to be rotating off to the west.
You actually see that 4 AM position. They're in a semi-valley with no, actually, I say no one behind them on the hills. That's Samty running down the back behind 4 AM. He's not a healthy man. If he had a little bit more meds, he might be a little bit happier about this position. And, well, I don't want to jinx you, Samty. Hopefully they won't see you for the moment. But 4 AM are moving very much to his position. That's a very long run to the north now where our circle will shift.
Yeah, I mean, these guys have had no rest whatsoever. The circle shifted south for the original circle, but ever since then, north, north, north.
Does he see? They both ran up. If they actually knew that M19 were there, they probably would not be continuing this run.
Yeah, they were in a beautiful position, Atesy and Raffy, to have looked right down on M19, but continuing to wrap around here, they might be fine.
Really hard. Samty, looks like 4 AM are going to finally leave him. He's on the southern edge of the circle, and he has got
and the grenade's going to be coming out. The pressure is being applied, and Voxic from Knight's actually going to be sliding in as well, so we might see some third-party action, some cheeky plays coming out from the solo player of Knight.
Yeah, he's that rogue player in the back. Unfortunately for him, he can't really engage. The only thing he can really do is just try and move in on the circle. If you can get a finish off, that would be a nice way to do it, but there's just too many players from the remaining teams around him that could just knock him off.
Yeah, at this point in time, FaZe is just going to be...
Speaking of that.
Yep, there it is. Mixie, he heard you, Toby, and immediately going to be capitalizing on that. But that's going to give Entis Mirrors the opportunity to connect on a Gustav QQ. We mentioned it. He's the newer player to FaZe, filling in for Hex. After the Hong Kong tournament, but back here, Vitality on the eastern side of things, trying to hold a dominant 2-2 split on the eastern and southern part of the circle, but 4AM is aggressive.
They can at least have some level of long fire from Shadow as well as Jazza to give that support to their ridgeline. They hold one of the only 2 real positions left inside the compound, which is Tempo Storm, who have the building to the side. But 4AM, they really are uncertain about moving forward. There's not enough cover for them to work with. M19 are trying to shoot back up to them, but they may have no other choice. They may just have to run directly, and they are not inside the circle at the moment as enters. They're going to get a couple of their own tags down, but this battle, the blue, is just pushing GodV so fast, so hard, and eventually he had to be knocked down.
Yeah, Batulin's shot with the AKM going to be ringing true onto GodV, but around the map, these cliffs continue to be our battleground here as FaZe is trying to make their way off around, and Yak from Entis just hiding down at the very base of this hill, just trying to look up, seeing if he can spot any of the players from Method.
Yeah, this is the Anakin position. It's just like, oh, don't try it, don't try it. GodV is finally brought down. So is CPT, so it's the circle starting to do its work as the rest of Vitality firing him to forever. There's just nowhere to move, so 4AM totally eliminated, found themselves totally coverless, and no way to get down off the mountain. Vitality split has worked, an absolute treat.
Yeah, and all of these teams just trying to secure their areas before they opt to make a move into this next circle. No one, absolutely no team is inside of our 7th circle of game number 1. We have players playing the edge, but Tempo Storm needs to make their way off of that northern position. BenQ5 going to be finding a quick connection with the Car 98 on a Shadow from Vitality.
Keep it quiet, Diaz. Don't let people know you're there. Method was so close. Method were actually trying to gatekeep out FaZe, but they understand they have to move fast. Everyone is just converging into the southwest corner. Vitality, this is why the 2-2 works. They can just play this range game. Of course, Jazza and Shadow have to move out of their cover.
AT being very careful. Going to be hopping down.
That Diaz! Finish him off. Get the points. Now look for the second. Jempty. Okay, here's the battle going on. And a Vanguard will be eliminated in 8th position, but now revealing their positions. Both Method and FaZe start to actually lock horns. Mixie pushing Rafi. He doesn't want him to heal up. Able to get the kill, so goodbye Method. And FaZe need a quick pickup and then move forward.
Absolutely. They have to worry about so much as they come in. Certainly M19 heard all of these shots up the hill, but now Vitality going to be engaging on the Tempo Storm. A loot dropped almost immediately by OG and Entis, but they're going to be wiped out in return.
Yeah, this is, wow, no one's really in. I'm loving the position from Samty. He can just wait there in a small little crevice where no one's going to be looking and play for a great position while everyone else has to expose themselves very heavily. M19, it looks pretty. It's like 2 birds on a wire just perched up next to that loot crate. Cover from the back and wait for people to come from the front. But Mixie, okay, he's gone a little bit more ballsy. Grab the buggy, drive through. What's the worst that could happen? Okay, that's the worst that could happen. An M249 killed off down and actually stolen by Vitality.
Yeah, we know Batulin is such a strong player. M19 sort of playing passive in this game, playing towards their strong suit, but now is their time to capitalize on this. FaZe trying to just continue on with just Yempty, a lone solo player.
He knows, right? Like, he can run the edge of the circle and hope no one looks up towards him. M19 running down the hill will take the attention of Shadow, but there's only so long Jempty can stay up on the side before he's going to be noticed. M19 again pushing back Vitality. The circle is there, and the circle will pull everybody out of all forms of cover. Okay, that is the easiest shot onto Jempty, and goodbye FaZe in 5th.
Yep, that is probably Samty's one of his favorite shots right there, able to find the connection on the FaZe, wiping them out. But Batulin again with the M249 going to be spraying those 5.56 rounds up the hill, up onto the duo of Vitality.
Wow, that actually didn't hurt him more than I thought it was going to. It bounced a little bit further down. Then to cook it harder, that one hurts. Using the first aid kit per second. Is that in the teeth? Oh. Yes, it is. Monkey with the arm. Gets the throw down. M19. Batulin's is way too far away to actually be picked up, so Vitality, they're trying to capitalize on as much as they possibly can. That's a bit of a wafted grenade.
Elite player was just trying to hold onto that crate. The crate presenting him with a little bit of cover in this very wide open ravine, but his legs are going to be spotted out. Yannick going to be spraying down with the AKM, trying to find the connections.
God, how long until Vitality actually want to get more involved in this? They already managed to have a battle with Tempo Storm, knocking one down, so it's just one remaining walking player Your boy Dre. Yeah, your boy Dre is the one who's trying to get the pick up onto BenQ5. Can't do it. Samty still crawling his way through. Shirts off for Samty.
Samty just in an extremely good position, specifically for a solo player. He's got the little bit of defilade while he crawls in and just lets all of this engagement, all of this chaotic mess happen around him, just further placing himself into the money.
He'll need to get a knock onto one of the Vitality players. This battle between Vitality and M19 is that point when your boy Dre as well as Samty can actually capitalize on it. There's 4 teams left. It's a 4-3-1-1, and it's up to these rogue players to do something. It won't happen. Both the rogue players get eliminated, and well, I guess we get to have a 3-on-4. Vitality have 7 kills. They'll be happy to chalk up 11 for the round.
Yes, certainly they will be, but
or
now,
10,
now it's between Vitality and M19. M19, do they know what is going to be pushing over the edge on top of them?
Vitality can hear it, but they don't know exactly how close it is. There's, well, finding the angle. M19 retreating back down the hill. The trade-offs are coming in, but it's in favor of Vitality. Just one player left. It's the M249. It's powerful with a spray. Batoons have already claimed 1, but he won't claim more. That is going to be the round going the way of Vitality. They had the numbers, they had the split, this great 2-2 position, and everyone came into their killing zone.
They really did. I mean, Vitality capitalized on top of it. Really one of the more better executed 2-2 splits that we've seen played out here in the competitive scene, and you got to hand it to them because that was not easy for those guys to do.
Yeah, that was a terrific round. 10 kills in total and the first position. It was pretty split around it. You had the best one next to him was Team Liquid, who were able to claim 8 kills in total. So a good day at the office for both Liquid and Vitality. They're claiming a lot of points out this one. M19, good to see them involved in fights. Yep. I heard a couple of jokes between some of the talent here, just like, okay, yeah, M19, are they really going to get involved? They got 2 kills only for second position, but it's still second position.
They got involved when they needed to, and you know, push on as far as you can without getting an engagement. Don't lose too much on the way there, and then capitalize on it when you have the opportunity. Second place not going to be bad for M19, and certainly any of those naysayers who say M19 is a passive team are going to be kind of biting their tongues.
Oh, I'm sensing some passion from you on that side. Just like, it's like, no. Avenger has no idea what he's talking about when he mocks them.
Oh, no. He's a smart guy. He knows exactly what he's talking about.
Oh,
but
no, let's not give him that much credit. I don't want to give him anywhere near that much credit at all.
Yeah, no, certainly. And, you know, very interesting game. I think everyone was very sort of concerned as to how this lobby was going to be playing out. With so many dominant teams, we saw that 10 or 11 of our teams having won an international LAN prior to this event. So certainly some skills being played out. Yeah.
Was there any moment that you want to highlight out of that entire game that you really liked?
Well, I think I got to say the fact that Liquid was able to get out of that early chaotic engagement where Ibiza was run over and carry on and get a third place finish. I mean, that's a salvage of a game right there.
Yeah, that really is. And it was like third place and kills as well. Like that was a horrible position to be in. And they spent most of the time actually in a 3 split.
Exactly.
Like it was like never together, but always somehow involved in some kind of fight. And they got some good pickoffs as individuals, but I suppose you can play 3 solos in a team game.
That's exactly right. Method had a pretty good game as well, picking up some frags on the way, but with so much chaos on those cliffs. I mean, we saw FaZe run through them. We saw Knights trying to get involved with it as well. It was very tough for them to rotate out of that position.
Yeah, I actually wonder how you even do that on a Miramar. Like, you saw Mixie try and just drive through it. It's like, well, I guess we're boned. I wonder how we get through it. Maybe second round of Miramar as well as analysts will give us more insight on it.
Thank you, Toby. Really good position. To you now, why'd you guys do that 2-2 split during phase 6 or? Around there. We thought this ridge where we, like on the hill, it was a good ridge for the whole team. Then we were looking with 2 cars. And decided, oh, this ridge is actually not that good. So we bailed and said, guys, stay. We're gonna shot here. This is was a stupid move. Should we come back? Then the cars got shot. So the two split was not really intended. It was more like we. We're looking for a better position instead of.
You guys just arrived here. Yes, the ones that qualified. Do you feel like they have an advantage over Vitality?
They have. I heard the first like qualify. I think that gave this gift.
So 19 more games to go.
Mình rất là thương căn nhà này tại vì căn nhà này là tự do mình tự xây, hiểu không?
From Vitality.
Oh, I hope so.
Again, sir, good luck getting those chicken. Has to say about game number 1.
Thank you, Dave. And Sober1 and Esquire getting things to finals. And Team Vitality teams, whether you look at the ones who've done well on the first days or the 8 teams who've just chicken. Dinner.
There was a Vitality was one of the top 3 teams in the world. So honestly, for me to see them new vibe, they struggled a little bit at GLL, but game 1, Yannick was, and it feels like they're coming together.
Yeah, I mean, they were happy with top 5. The roster is before this, they had a very 6, 7, 8 days together at the bootcamp. They played a lot of games, made sure to get some strings here, but they defended extremely well. Absolutely battered by Vitality. The 2-2 split they had worked out super well for them.
They took the risk, and I think that worked out. It gave them a 50% chance of getting the smart thing. They located M19, they ran, and they called in the northern team to.
With our partners NVIDIA, here's FaZe, and we're going to focus for this first set.
So FaZe looted out ad location for them, and it actually put them in a pretty stuck in not a 2-team fight. They got stuck in a 4-party fight. They got tangled up with Liquid and Met of 4 angry men became cost FaZe a potentially really on Miramar.
And also here, like they stayed really, really rough rotation for them because they helped kind of uphill here and got a lot of pressure. From the other team, by the way, and they're managing to get over there with the amount of really good.
I mean, we were talking about it, right? You guys sort of joked and said they don't, but does what others can't. And if a winner figures out how to win,
this is going to turn into this, isn't it? FaZe could have still a whole calendar. 5th. But no further than that, as you said. 6 kills is how they came out of this.
Against hard push after hard push at the very beginning, coming out of Kumaseta, with a nice little backstab here. But then they ran into 4 angry men. Then there was 1 shot left on the helmet.
Yeah, they earned it.
They earned every.
You particularly enjoy.
Yeah, I mean, oh, that was you. You put.
We did get the first of what we might see a few times.
A little bit of brotherly love.
Yeah,
so.
Fits into the team. He got 3 kills in the first round. You know, like they're kind of on par synergy. Surviving 3 into the later stages of the game, they kind of struggled here.
UMP for me on Miramar is a pretty brave. He pushes in, gets caught by that OG. Did a good job. Mixie and Jempty split themselves. He was a hibernating bear, and AT.
Yeah, and Jempty finished him afterwards. So very good position, very good kind of decision on just storming and getting him up, and then he got up.
Well, I mean, part of this was like they do a good leapfrog. You follow with the res. Jempty gets picked up. Mixie makes a hard cross here, gets shot. And he gets low, he goes for crawls, he knows exactly when and where to gone. The vests are taken down because he's just caught so much in the open. But Cross was at that stage when we said they mind-blowing.
Yeah, we wiped him off 6 kills.
A lot of damage. And that's the part of that fight, with like a Vengar, for instance, King of Steals in that game. That finish. So I think they got a lot more credit than they're due in this game.
Will matter.
Yes.
That, you know, whether you were here or not, of everybody else, not just our one featured.
Some of the cool kills, rotational one of their own by running them over. A little bit of James, I think, knocked a beat.
Isn't it good that they've got that out of it?
这一波我们看到这个视野是他并没有发现脚下万嘎的独狼，对吧？他走过来的时候没看脚下，刚好是卡了个视野盲区。
是。 这边可以看到，其实他们的一个补枪时机也是非常迅速啊。原点这边，没想到居然是我的兄弟把我给解决了。没办法，你趴得太高了，大哥，就是这种感觉。
兄弟对决，就是最后3打4的时候，其实是 M19打掉了一个，但是非常快的被补掉了，所以人数还是劣势。
我们来看一下刚刚维塔这一局的一个情况，从航线包括这个圈形，其实一直是在往地图的西南方向啊，这边在靠近，然后他们从第5个圈的时候解决掉了 Ghost 的一名队员以后，一直到第7圈、第8圈，然后到最后一下，其实也是拿到了不错的一个击杀数。
其实他们在前几个圈。 入圈的阻力是相对来说比较小的，后边可能打得比较激烈。
哎，
是最后决赛圈的一个复盘。
对，这样一个情况，其实 M19这个位置的话，因为当时 Vita 就是两边的一个信息掌握得非常清楚，他们2个人在打第一波 M19这边人的时候，同时另外2个人刚刚其实在没有集合之前已经朝 TS 这边开火了，而 3P 这个位置的话，一开始他只能听到枪声，他不敢做太多的一个举动，他想你等你们打完就是 3P 这边，但是最后的话 ，Vita 也是决定我们先把第一波位置这边给。 就是解决掉，就是 M19这边解决掉。同时，他们那一片区域的话，其实也处在一个地图最高位了。毕竟最后一个情况，他们是全场不管是人数还是地形都占据了绝对的优势。
其实最后那个决赛的地形，我觉得还是主动的一方比较有优势吧，因为 Vita 和 M19两个队其实隔着一个坡在打，就是谁上那个坡，谁的视野可能会更好，会打得更主动。而最后那个坡真正站上去的是 Vita 的人 ，M19始终处于一个下坡的坑里边，
对，这就是
被动挨打。
这就是说明他们刚刚之间做的一个控图嘛，因为之前也是在提这个问题。然后 M19这边的话，他也不敢往坡上冲，他也不知道到底什么样的情况，他也不敢轻易的说我直接推过去，就被卡在那个地方了。
是的。
那这样的话，我们还是稍微休息一下，等待一下今天第2张沙漠地图的一个开始，一会儿再见。
How do you make your PUBG experience more diverse and convenient? Color Vibrance allows for more realistic and vibrant colors. It also provides the convenience to tune colors in-game, making you see the change instantly. How do you reveal the hidden enemies in PUBG? Adjust the black equalizer to brighten darker areas, which makes it easier to spot enemies hiding in the shadows.
大家好，我是英霸传媒的谢妍。那么也是在8月29日的时候呢，绝地求生 SLI 全球群星联赛第一阶段16进8的比赛已经是全部打完了。CN 军团折戟沉沙，希望他们能够总结经验，学习更好的打法，让自己队伍在今后的比赛当中实力更强。第4日，韩国战队展现出绝对的实力，中国队位居8、11、12名。 积分和第7名 WTSG 最多仅差150分，可惜中国战队最后一场只拿到6、7、15名均无缘第2阶段，遗憾离场。纵观4天全部赛程，第1的 MVP 和第10的 XQ 都吃到了3击。MVP 的选手 Youngtan 场均伤害最高，达到了309。尽管个人人头数不是最多的，但整支队伍的击杀数和第2名 Genji 并列第1，均为103个。 团队存活时间都很长 ，MVP 对于地形的把握、信息的搜集、逐步进圈的时机和地点，可以说是天衣无缝。位列第2名的 Genji 作为一个跳 N 岗的队伍，场均吃毒189秒，行进距离32.67公里，每场几乎都在跑毒，但是丝毫没有影响他们进圈的时机。韩国队对于投掷物的理解极为独特，场均投掷物达到15个，他们总是可以依靠投掷物挽回地形的劣势。 形成公平对枪，不但人头数和 MVP 一样，还吃到了2把击，更是在多场比赛2支队伍满编进入决赛圈，互相打招呼。人人都说 PUBG 这款游戏输赢很大一部分是靠运气。韩国队在最后几个圈的运营，战地判断十分强，这种判断能力很有可能是源自他们对于每个战队队伍的深度分析、提前预判。虽然不是每次都能成功，但是确保了进入决赛圈稳定的发挥和名次。作为中国战队的 V5、XQ、17队员实力都不差，都能以1敌2甚至敌3，转移的时候略显仓促，很容易在进圈时候减员，无法发挥出他们的实力。 3-1分推的盲目探点弊端逐渐显现出来。PUBG 还是4个人的游戏，团队协作永远占第1位。大者恒大，强者恒强。现在全村的希望都寄托在了 4M 身上，希望在接下来4天的比赛当中，能让世界看到中国队伍精彩的发挥。同时，也希望大家
Ale Vitality as they get the first win. Finals currently at the top. Loads more games to go. 9. This side of things too.
That's a great point. Like MVP is a good example. They struggled on that map. They probably have never trained that particular uphill push without a third-person perspective. Yeah. So that is that a lot of rust is going to have to get shaken off of some of these teams for them to get a good position on top.
And on top of that, Dave also asked Yannick a very good question. Do you think some of these teams that are here already have a, an advantage to be here? And I think so. I mean, there will be some land jitters. Some of the guys, they just travel. I mean, you got to get into it. And that's also like awesome while you're playing 20 maps, right? It's going to take you some time actually to get used to the PCs, to set up, going to get comfortable, maybe shake off the flu that you just got or whatever. I mean, some of these guys have traveled a lot. It's back-to-back, so
jet lag is a thing, we know, and we're not even competing in it, but, we travel around a lot, and you got to shake the stuff off, and it's not easy to do, but that's the life of working, in international competition, whatever it is. A Vanguard on the top half, the top side of the wrong half. Cloud9, way down there as well. Early days, of course, early days. 295 points, one of the better scores we've had of any game that we've played here in Kiev.
I mean, at the end of the day, again, let's just take a look at this and say it is what it is. It's game one. We've seen massive resurgences. A terrible day one out of Ghost still got them qualified going into the final day during the qualifiers. So there is room to wiggle. Every team gets one bad game. Vitality comes out swinging, but I think we're going to see some good stuff if our CIS teams, especially at Vanguard, get a good circle. Potentially they come out and get themselves a nice win. I think that if we don't have to see late rotations by a team like MVP, they could also pull out some great things.
5 games today, as you already know, all on Miramar. Then we'll do Erangel tomorrow. We'll come back to Miramar and we'll go back to Erangel on Sunday when we will crown a champion here with a nice little payday for earning it as well. Vitality looking like they should be happy, relaxed.
There's a payday for the winner, which I think is good. But we've also established sort of a new thing, right? The top 8 teams got invited back from Season 1. So now the teams who are playing here have something else to think about that, hey, when the next season's down the line, we want to make sure that we finish in the top. We want to make sure that we show that we deserve an invite. Because a lot of tournaments just sort of do this open qualifier thing or hard invites. And the fact that StarLadder's mixing it up and sort of rewarding those who performed well in the past, but also giving a chance for the qualifier teams to get through, I think sends a message to these players that you can't have a bad LAN. You really do have to come out and perform from day one.
And there's, without giving too much away, there's a lot of PUBG to look forward to in the not-too-distant future as well. So you want to keep rocking and rolling at these things. There's quite a few invitationals in the world of PUBG, and StarLadder's got plenty of action to look forward to in the future as well. Here's another one of our teams then that we haven't really met yet in Kiev. So for the next game, let's get to know Avangard.
Всем привет. Играю под ником Кин в команде Авангард. Мои тиммейты Анактив, Дайс и Старый Мумино. С Жаном я знаком с 65-го года. Не, ну как мы познакомились с Мумином, мы знакомы еще с игры Counter-Strike 1.6 в компьютерном клубе. Ну где-то уже лет 12-13 знаем. Оника я знаю уже где-то 1,5 года. Дайза то же самое. Вот мы вместе начинали играть. Короче, мы друзья, семья. Подготовка проходила шикарно. Мы тренировались в доту с кейсерами. Они прошли в Чикаго. Надеюсь, мы выиграем StarLadder. Или топ-1, или топ-16, где-то вот так. На самом деле праков не было. Мы тренировались на фейсите с про-игроками. Все было нормально. Мы готовы к этому чемпионату. Но мы атакующая команда, агрессивная. Да, на самом деле мы пассивная команда, которая иногда деремся. Вот когда 2 команды между собой подрались, там один остался, мы придем и уничтожим. Потом приходит наш капитан, лутает, после этого я жду, спину прикрываю и потом иду лутать его больше. Да, на самом деле я шучу, у нас такого нет, все нормально. Не соло, но я играл один против сквада и убил 24, кажется.
They are good guys. There's a lot to like about this team. They're fun, but they can get the job done as well.
Yeah, I mean, if you didn't know them before, I think that you love Keen at least now. The laugh alone when he said, I hope people know we're joking, was endearing to say the least. But it's good to hear that he thinks of their team as friends and family. I mean, I think he brought up a really good point with the way that they trained for this. You know, Matt, we were talking earlier about how this differs from other esports sometimes. The idea that it's not just one team versus one team. And not only is that a big difference in game, that's a big difference in training.
Yes,
to
absolutely.
get 16 top teams together to truly scrim and be willing to all play at their best is not an easy feat. So CIS region maybe having a little trouble scraping those things together. So they said, okay, we went out, we ground face it, we worked on our mechanical skills, and we just did everything we could to get ready. And PUBG is also a game where sometimes grinding mechanics and getting comfortable with everything is not a bad way to play. But that does mean they did not practice on Miramar.
They did not practice on Miramar because obviously they've only been playing there. But they've been playing a lot of Miramar in the scrims as well. The few scrims that they've had prior to this. So I'm excited to see if they're ready for this, because I know they just changed that drop on Miramar. They just went to Chumacera for the first time. Never been playing out of there, so they don't know rotations. They don't know where to play from. They don't know how to go it.
5th at PGI's FPP tournament for Vanguard, but 16th for TPP.
Yeah.
Why such a big discrepancy? I know you're going, yeah, it doesn't matter, and we're not playing TPP, so it doesn't matter, but that's a big discrepancy.
The first thing that you'll have to learn about me is I'm sometimes disliked because I still like playing TPP occasionally. I find it.
I know you do. That's
I find it peaceful.
I want to know why do you think they were
I will
so
say
far down
this.
the table?
They are a team that run and guns very well. They want to take these sort of aggressive fights. TPP is not great for run and gun teams, especially if you want to be aggressive and you're not used to sort of using that third-person camping system. You can get caught out a lot because teams can use the folds to really catch you.
And also, they said they're 1.6, old school 1.6 players. They're FPS players. They're not used to the advantages of TPP.
They want to bang. And I think that they do a good job of it.
In the skies of a beautiful sunny day with a few clouds in Miramar, we'll head northwest. Going over Los Leones up towards El Pozo and Alcantara, if anybody hangs around for the view for that long.
Got some good planes today.
Yeah, great planes. And I imagine that right now that, you're sort of looking up from the map. I don't know if you guys remember this. Developer said we were trying to figure out what vehicle to use for this game, and they were standing outside, and that plane flew over them where they were standing sort of during that design phase. And they said, that's perfect. So sort of, I love when I see it because you think like everything in this game has a little bit of an origin story. Yeah. That said, origin stories for teams like Vitality are going to be important going forward here. I need to see them have another really good second game.
We'll go back to Esquire, and he's with a guy who, like Vanguard, know a little bit about Dota. Toby One's got him.
I was waiting for the starting throw, which was like patches of rain springing from the west, kind of like weatherman host of the panel. But no, we had to have some level of Dota reference. Okay, let's
escape it, Toby.
Let's go gather our farm, shall we? Let's just get that out of the way right now, should we?
Well, players are all off the plane. They're going to be looting around. We heard the NLS desk talk about it. Pretty favorable playing for these guys based off the drop locations these teams have opted to go through, at least in game number 1.
Yeah, I'm hoping for some nice spread out, no one running over any other teammates with their cars, and what a nice circle.
As if the plane wasn't enough.
We're feeling very centered. I think the feng shui of Miramar has finally kicked in. They put the couch in the right corner, the bed was facing the exit door, and we're going to have a good game.
Everything is falling into place around the map. We can see no one really landed on top of one another. For the most part, I mean, with the bulk of the circle being so dead center, these teams aren't going to have too far to transition.
Yeah, is this actually the point too where we get to avoid having those horrible tight choke points? Like we smacked down so hard southwest on our last round. Now it's a little bit more open up. Is there any kind of overlap that we're probably going to see as teams come in?
Yeah, I mean, exactly. We talk about it, time and time again, how these teams are going to have to work around, especially this East Coast. We saw Tempo Storm. They landed a little bit east, but they're going to have to work through kind of thick and thin to make their way around some of the more stronger teams on that side of things, specifically Gen G, if they end up crossing paths. Avangard are going to be looting up here on the southwestern side of the circle. Nothing's changed here in Picado, though. Pretty much call it Liquid City if you want.
Yeah, okay, let's just change the name.
Yeah.
Liquid now trying to make more money through esports. They've got a casino inside their city. I mean, that's appropriate comments.
Need to fix the holes in those roofs, though.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm not saying it's a high-quality casino. Yes. Like, security is only about keeping the money in, right?
Exactly.
Like we don't have to spend money on external things. There's so many inappropriate things to say right now. But yeah, to go off your thing about Tempo Storm too, they're actually going all the way up to El-Azhar. So they can slowly come in through the northeast corner of the map later on. MVP, they go in the northwest. Genji were actually the guys who are looting up the eastern side near Impala, and they're the ones that forced Tempo Storm out all the way up.
One of the stronger players on that squad, acting as a solo player in La Bandita for the time being. Welcome.
Sure.
Yeah, why not?
No, do you ever really want to go into the crater? It seems like a horrible place to get caught.
Yeah, I mean, it's extreme. It's probably the most extreme choke point if you look around the map.
Well, Method and 4 AM had a great tussle during round 1 near the last circles, and 8C and Forever. Nice and close to each other.
I told you, these guys have magnets. Something is drawing these guys directly to one another.
It's attraction.
Yeah.
Like, these guys both swipe right on each other's profiles.
Method, super like.
Come and be involved, and Forever. Like, he's breaking so many windows. And we'll see just how much of a surprise he gets. AT's waiting on the stairs for him. There's a lot of loot left in here, so Forever is probably not going to think someone's here until AT
spots him out immediately.
Save the helmet. Save the helmet. Save the. Let him shoot. Oh, is he teabagging? Oh, the manners. The manners. He stopped. He stopped for pleasure before he finished.
Well, these guys have sort of developed a rivalry in game number 1. I mean, they found each other time and time again, so I can understand at least why they would have some heated emotions between them.
Yeah, it was, okay. M249, we enjoyed that one at the end of the last one, too. Yeah, never forget Forever.
Never forget. I mean, a tough spot for him to be in. It seemed like he had absolutely no idea that AT was inhabiting that building, and very similar to what we saw in game number 1 where Moleman was inside of the church and the Vanguard was pushing up on them, executed on it properly.
You talked about the rogue players. Like, look at Method across the, actually, across most of the map, if you look at the map. Like, it's like from the west to the east, you can almost draw a line between every Method player. If I could only draw on my screen right now, this would be the next Star Ladder production value thing, that they have this almost horizontal cut with a southern dip going straight across the middle of that circle.
Yeah, pretty much straight along the plane path, exactly that we saw as well. So Faye's going to be rotating out of this Monte Nuevo area. We can see Yempty going to be picking up Mexi, maybe? No, going to be leaving him. Mexi's got his own car. Leave him to rotate on his own. But Simpson going to be getting out of this crater area, this La Bandita area, right in the nick of time before OG and Entis, Yak and Mir are going to be peeking over.
I'm loving on production that we can never keep removing, like, it's still see Forever dying when we go on to that perspective. It just keeps reminding us of what happened last time.
Forever.
Yes, Forever stuck. It's like was it like the old plasma TVs?
Right, exactly. Burned into the screen.
I left it on for too long. It's burned into my retina.
Thank God for technology. We have advanced so far. M19.
I did that. I actually did. I did that to my plasma TV. Brand spanking new. I watched Pirates of the Caribbean. Fell
Did you have Johnny Depp just on your screen?
No, I had the medallion.
Yeah,
yes. There was a smack bang in the middle of my screen. Meanwhile, back in the real action, opening up Entis. Only get a knock. They'll actually bring down Yannick the whole way. So Mirror and Yak working together.
Yeah,
teamwork.
Yeah, teamwork to make the dream work. Mirror going to be spotting out the other members of Vitality, trying to rotate off of that northwestern position. And it looks like they're just going to be trying to get out of the dodge. They don't want to lose anything more, specifically after that strong, dominant finish. They're going to be sitting pretty on the leaderboard. I think almost 300 points from that one game.
Yeah, how does Vitality do a 2-2 split when they've got 3 players? That math don't just add up.
It doesn't at all. Avangard going to be reuniting with each other in this compound, particularly close to where Method's Raffy had scouted out an area as well. So if Method is able to reunite, they might be able to get in some sort of engagement, some long-range shots, some poke shots coming back and forth between this concrete compound and the compound up to the northwest.
Yeah, that's a long way to go to actually reunite, so Method can just remain with this 2-2 split as finally the blue. It takes forever to come in for the first round. Almost want more pressure at the very beginning, but everyone has the time to loot up, be prepared. And surprise, surprise, is that Liquid smack bang in the middle of absolutely everything. Knights are trying to find their position too. They're a little further to the north. And everyone find a compound, have some good vision, and have some escape vehicles as well. And there's that Liquid versus M19 battle which could come out.
Liquid sort of in their own split right now. We can see Jeems and Scoom up to the north of the position where Ibiza and Samty are currently holding. And if they're able to hold on to these dominant positions, they can spray out gunfire at anyone trying to transition around. But it looks like Scoom going to be popping up over the hill, just trying to get these advantageous lines of sight down on Picado.
Yeah, and Moleman was the man making that quick little run. WTSG as well, taking their own hill. I think Larson wants to have a bit of a... Actually, he's just driving down into the compound. They're taking that northern road. It's becoming very close to Cloud9 are around it, Knights are around that, Enters are around that, everyone's around that, and Moody's working it out. Take to the hills, climb every mountain. The Marauder, not so great at doing that.
No, not a great climber.
Flips over.
Yeah, but able to land it, calculated. If you ask Moody, he's going to say the exact same thing. Xiaojing going to be leaving this building, though, trying to depart to reunite with Christus, crossing paths with some of the members of Welcome to South George.
Yeah, I wonder if he want to come over pretty quickly as Christus made the call that Larson was moving up. Not a fight they wanted to have, and now it's actually Vard and WTSG, not the position they wanted to be in. Vard, there's no way to really save him. There are some good shots coming down the hill towards K-Mine. Won't stop Vard from being finished off. Stab hiding behind his vehicle. Galaxy looking for target just underneath the vehicle. Taking out the wheels, however. Larson's got the angle and the Groza. Perfect close range. Finishes the job.
Very true to form to what we saw in game number 1, where Cloud9 had a hell of a time trying to make that transition down to the south. And this time, yet again, they're going to be spoiled here in this transition phase. K-Mine going to be under fire from Welcome to South George as well as Intis.
He needs his teammates to give him some cover fire to make this long run in. Galaxy trying to hit with the mini, but it just keeps kicking back up, and not a single bullet connects onto K-Mine.
Yeah, so for the time being, they'll be pulling up into this compound. Safety at last for Cloud9.
That's true. Just down a player. Well, hello, Ghost. We tap in with them as we go a little bit closer to Los Leones. No one wants to really stay inside 4 a.m. They're still on the northern side, inside Los Leones, but everyone else has vacated the city. The plague has been expelled.
Yeah, I mean, in the qualifying stages, we only saw one team landing in Los Leones, but this time it's been shared between 2 to 3 teams. So it's going to be interesting to see how that area develops, whether or not one team will push in and try to take a dominant force in that Los Leones area. But continuing to erupt around this building, Cloud9 cannot escape it, however much they try.
Yeah, they're trying to. They're trying to actually have a crack over a Galaxy who's having a hard time getting out of it. That's why Miracu's popping off the smoke, giving him some level of cover to run from rock to rock. But Cloud9 also took some shots from Entis. They took over the graveyard a little bit off to the side. And that's what is a little bit more concerning, as Ghost, Genji are in a very poor position. Galaxy finally making the run. He's sticking it. He's not stopping for a heal. Maybe he doesn't even have one. Let's just get back in the car and get the hell out of here.
Yeah, Miracu might be lending him some bandages right before they get into that Bronco. Certainly the teamwork coming in for Welcome to South George as Larson rolls in on the motorbike as well. So Cloud9 just continuing to hold this building. We can see Nerve trying to peek around the left side of this building, seeing if he can get some final shots on a Welcome to South George.
Yep, but he won't find it. They're too low down now. Just not the line of fire that they want to have.
There's
and
Gaxi.
WTSG, they're okay with this too. They're just going to move on, find a better position. It's still on the very northern side of the circle. We're 22 seconds away from it finally constricting out. So they want to have a stronger position in this, and heading towards the east, they have a better line. They will be near Tempo Storm. If they go too far south, they'll be on top of Vitality. When we check in all the way in the northwest, this is the uncontested MVP. They own the power grid. They own the power.
They have had no one contesting either their drop spot or the rotation into the power grid right now. But with this next circle shift down to the southeast, all is going to change for MVP as they have to make their way through not phase, not just method, but also liquid as well once they actually enter in on that southeastern side of Picado.
Yeah, you know, I said everyone got out of Los Leones. Well, I think everyone's coming straight back home. There is some northern positions that can be taken, and Liquid are already making a nice play. There's a place to the northwest of Los Leones, which is a really great little hillside. I won't say resort, but it's more of just of a house compound, which has really great vision around the north and as well as the northwest. So this will now be a good place to move towards. Method of going into the middle of Ghost as well as 4 a.m. So Ghost, if they can get a nice little hit, they'll go for it. Genji also making their push up. Everyone coming out of La Bandita.
Yeah, Simpson just ran across the road to the north from these members of Ghost, but it's really going to be X-Chris and AT from Method. They're going to be trying to utilize this cover in this concrete compound. Turtle on the second floor going to be taking a lot of shots, drop down to about 30% HP.
Yep. Hide yourself away. Met up. The rest of his teammates need to come and help him too. Knights are actually driving directly into Avangard, and Liquid are not that far off as well. That's the little compound I said that Liquid already moved early to try and hold. There's only a little bit of deflay with some of these dirt roads for them to work with. Knights trying to drive away, but now Keen realizes he's not alone. Avangard have to make a choice. They have to take the close fight up against Liquid. And Abits is already ready for it. That perfect 2-2 split from Liquid, heavily pressuring Avangard. The nades are too far away for Abits to actually reach, however.
Yeah, this is exactly the type of 2-2 split you want to see. Close enough to provide that support between the two duos, but
nice
far
nade.
enough away to where they're going to be safe if the team crashes in and onto them. X-Chris, yep, grenade on the turtle, going to be knocking him down and out as Method continues to push into this compound, trying to clear out whatever they can.
WTSG looking for some revenge. Tempo Storm already looked for the early knock onto them. And they return in kind. As this circle condensing is really forcing the teams now to engage against each other.
Really is. MVP able to make their way in easily, actually. Ooh. Surprisingly enough, all of the teams making the quick rotations based off of this circle shift, going to open up that northwestern side of the circle, but wide out open in this field. Welcome to South Georgia. Just continues to try to hide from all of these engagements.
Vanguard just has no other choice. Knights have what a great angle. Straight over to a Vanguard, and Mumino is already knocked down and finished off. And it won't be too long before the rest of Avangard is too. There is no way out of that horrid position. Potential for the ludicrous speed drive out. But that will be ballsy. Hopefully they don't see him inside the smoke, and Avangard can keep their hopes alive.
Yep, certainly Method going to be utilizing a 2-2 split as well. So that's almost been the theme of these teams, employing this type of strategy to try to advance themselves, almost act as if they're a stronger team than just a 4-man death ball, if you will. But Avangard going to be rotating out of this area. Keen dropped down very low. He and his teammates, they've got to get out of dodge. Got to try to reset this engagement. That Liquid has been throwing out damage left and right, and Jeans with a beautiful Car 98 shot going to be connecting and knocking Keen out of the car.
Yeah, goodbye Keen. No way to go. And Avangard, it's a rock, a hard place, and well, okay, Liquid isn't really that hard, but still is a hard place.
I wouldn't want to be stuck between Liquid. I can tell you that. And here is our replay going to be showcasing this incredible shot. There it is, the connection dropped out of the Murado.
Sure. I would have reported if I saw that on replay. Beautiful shot. An Octave. Well, he could just smoke up and try and stay away from Knights and Liquid. That's the only thing he can do for the moment. Everyone else, however, establish nice control position. Vitality, you're seeing him there on the far northern side of the circle. They are in, so they have no need to push into this Entus lineup for now. MVP is a little bit off to their western side, so we might have a little bit of a three-way, depending on how the circle is going to move a little bit later on. There's a good 2-2 split from Entus. Vitality have a very hard task if they weren't trying to cross that field. In fact, impossible task without vehicles.
And they absolutely do. And with so many teams employing these 2-2 splits, it's really going to create a it's going to create a difficult landscape for teams to rotate around because they're going to be crossing paths with so many different duos of enemy squads.
Yep. I actually see one of those 2-2 splits that beats her in Scroom. They have that southern split of Team Liquid. Have to play the odds. The circle is going to shift. And if it shifts hard, you need to have multiple options.
Yeah, 4AM was positioning themselves on the hill on top of Liquid, but it's really going to be M19 trying to connect on the FaZe.
Yeah, FaZe is doing the run. They came around the edge of the rocks. FaZe, there's no way to retreat back out of this. Example is able to bring him down. Oh, he's actually clipping around the side. Mixi, he didn't get up the hill. They're going to finish the job. Mixi is losing life way too quickly. And FaZe are down 2. M19 are into recovery, but they still have all 4 up, and the circle is hit. And we're going to the east.
Going to the east. So yet again, another far rotation from any of our teams that were sort of settling on the western side of things. But now FaZe has to try to worry how they're going to continue on as 2 men strong. Gustav QQ doesn't have a lot of experience with this roster, so Yempty is going to have to do whatever he can to try to create that duo experience to just get that synergy going so that they can work as an effective team moving forward. Jazz are going to be bleeding out, though, in the blue zone, and I think he's going to be left.
Yeah. There's no way to save him. Shadow was already left. Monkey, as we see him, he got to the hillside. They're not inside the circle. They have to run around the ridge line of La Bandita. And this will take some time. Entus able to have a shot down to Vitality, and they also see over towards MVP, who are trying to make a very similar run, very close to the gun line of Genji. Get the perfect line, but over the hill, maybe now MVP are the ones with the advantage. And Genji, Wicked, he knows he's in trouble, and he is brought down. What a jump out, Alpaca.
Yeah, MVP
he's good.
just
almost
rolling
acts
in.
like it's on all fours.
I mean, they did not hesitate at all, able to capitalize immediately onto that kill on Wicked. Pang and the rest of the squad, though. We see Youngtan rolling around the Murado, but here is Gen G just trying to posture themselves on that hill just to the north where that engagement was popping up. But over here to Los Leones, another engagement starting to pop off as well.
Yeah, it's Knights versus M19. They've been enjoying these nice open battles. Now, it's just a full runaway. Considering Knights throwing out the grenades, it feels like they believe M19 are forcing them, but they're not. M19 are on the retreat back out. As MVP and Gen G, the battle continues through. MVP in a bit of a recovery position. Youngtan needs a bit of a res up. Those nades near Loki hit real hard, but Chalator is going for the push onto the side.
Simpson as well going for the opposite flank. I mean, Chalator and Simpson are just trying to completely choke out the members of MVP.
Entis are getting involved.
Yep, here comes the third-party engagement. Entis able to find the connections onto Loki. Now another member of Entis, Christus, from the far-off distance, spots out Simpson, drops him down to about 30% HP. So MVP sort of recognizing that maybe we need to pull off of this and let Gen G just get whittled down by Entis.
That whole western flank of Gen G was meant to try and rip apart MVP, but now Chalator's taken out. On the eastern side, Simpson is kind of locked in, and Entis, they own Gen G.
Oh yeah, they absolutely do. Siege and Pang and Alpaca just trying to figure out exactly where these threats are presenting themselves. If they overcommit too far, and that's going to be Gen G wiped down and out, not by one of the players that we thought were going to be shooting at him, but also it's actually going to be Method's X-Chris.
Long range, can't connect. The one last player clinging to life.
Yeah, and that's exactly what you have to do as a solo player. Just try to snake by, avoid as much damage as possible, and hit that prone button.
Yep, well, he got in. As long as they're on the road, but Samty's got very little life. He's sitting at about 20%, and one bullet would be enough to actually drop him down, but James rolling and exploding. MVP came slightly down the hill into the fire line. It looks like they've actually flipped the car as well. No cover for Skoom and Ibiza, and it is a turkey shoot right now. Happy Thanksgiving, Liquid.
Yeah, we still got Method right on top of that hill directly to the south. We can see them just raining down Hellfire on top of Ibiza and Skoom going to be able to find the knock on the Skoom, the finish on the Skoom, and it's just going to leave Samty and Ibiza to continue on for Team Liquid, but they are pinched in between two very powerful teams.
Yeah, at least Samty's managed to find a small little ravine to be inside of, but I hate to break it to him, but he's not inside the circle. MVP are the ones who actually gatekeep that area. So Samty still needs to find a way to get across, but it won't happen while Method, they want to lock him in. Chris even came in from the side, so MVP and they're maybe not as secure as they believe they were. Alpaca is limp, is just barely holding on to life.
Yeah, I mean, you saw MVP try to wrap around and get a flank play, but they ran directly into Entis. The third-party action coming up from the north is going to be providing such a thorn in the side for MVP as they continue to try to rack up that kill count and get a better finish than they did in game number one.
Better for Pang, at least one of the sides of Entis. So they got some more freedom to move. 4 AM also making the run underneath Method's gun. A little bit further the hillside to get in. To the circle, but this will force them into a confrontation with 4 AM.
And while all of this has been happening inside the Northeast, Cloud9 just going to be sitting wide in this field, completely separate. It's all happened. I mean, for the time being, they've got to be loving what they're seeing in the kill feed.
Oh yeah, like placement is great, but not to mention the huge open field that's between them and every other team. And that's like, oh, I got no cover to work with. What do? I'll just drive a car. That'll work. Yeah.
A crapshoot at that point.
Box and Rafi, hello. 4 AM has arrived. It's your wake-up call.
Going to be giving the other members of Method, X-Chris, AT, and Moleman the indication that there is a dominant threat pushing up from that southern. Here, though, it's going to be MVP and Entis. If there's anything we know about FaZe, they are able, or at least they're used to coming up huge in the later days of the tournament. So maybe they need this motivation coming off of day one to really push them into that mindset. But back around the map, Method going to be continuing to spot out players, going to be spotting out that flank coming up from 4 a.m. from the south.
They're getting so heavily involved in this. 8 looking for the perfect grenade, just toss it, lob it down, and just hope for the perfect hole hit. And, well, he turns away because real players don't look at where they throw the grenades and the results. Barely alive, M19. That first aid kit. Example may have one extra limp on him, and he does. He went down to 1 HP.
Yeah, it really seems like almost every team that opted to go towards that Los Leones areas, it was almost a death sentence for these guys trying to make those rotations up to these northern circles, these northeastern circles that we've been seeing after circle number 1. M19 continuing to try to fight through this blue damage, and they're not going to be able to, as the blue zone will be taking even harder once it finishes that shrink.
That's right. The chunking is going to get real thick and juicy. 1 minute and 10 seconds before the next encroachment. One hit, and say goodbye to Example. Same time, Method, man, they are really just chalking up so many kills. Young Tan gets knocked out. WTSC are able to claim 4 as well for this round in that circle. It will bring Cloud9 out of their compound. We've gone a little bit centered with the southwest inclined.
Yeah, certainly. Batwillen just trying to do whatever he can. Has hardly anything. He's dropped all of his gear. He does not want anyone to be able to pick it up easily from his body. Certainly in the blue zone. I don't see anyone going there.
No one's going near that. Like that's no man's land.
Speaking of no man's land, I would not want to be in between OGN and MVP up here to the northwest. These guys are currently squaring off. We see shots going back and forth between them.
Method definitely do. They have a great line of fire. They want to try and get involved, but then again, maybe they don't. Entis, 8C actually getting knocked out by Mira, but MVP and Entis, they've got a very pressing problem. They're basically sitting right on top of each other while Method can shoot down the hill over towards them. They're very lucky that Method actually got one player knocked, or else this would have been a complete knockout. Well, unlike a Vanguard, they actually got totally knocked out already. 12th position for them.
And the pressure is about to be applied as the blue zone now will be shrinking in. Going to be forcing these guys up to the northwest to push in, but it's going to be MVP that's eliminated, not just from Method, but also with some help from Entis.
Yeah, that's such a hard position to be in. Method, they have more than just the high ground. They'll have to move, however, and they know it. They're not inside the circle. They have to come closer, and this will bring them into Tempo Storm. Cloud9 have also made their own push down the eastern side. That's not exactly where they wanted to go. They've run into Vitality, and those long-range shots from Welcome to South George, who are a little bit split up themselves. Miracu is just like rogue fighting against the 2 solos who have been just left over.
Yeah, incredibly tough spot for Cloud9 to be in. We looked at them in that open field earlier on, and that was sort of a very risky bet, almost putting all of your eggs in one basket, because if you have to rotate out through that wide open field, it's going to be absolute hell.
What is this? This is this exact position I was talking about. Vitality's on one side, Cloud9's on the other. There's very little cover. They have to run the Blues coming in behind them, and WTSG just have a line of fire.
Here's the solo member left for Liquid. Ibiza, we saw Samty drop out just a second ago, so he's going to have to do something. He knows that a team is pushing up from his northwest, and it's going to be Entis, not someone you want to square off as a solo player.
Oh, Ibiza, just keep the run going. We can keep tabs with our pitcher-in-pitcher. On the Cloud9 and Vitality story, Ibiza is able to get up the hill and in towards the tree, so he's in some level of cover. Why Vitality, they can't say the same for them. Cloud9 actually get the final knocks off on them. Larson, well, he actually really wanted some of those kills, but at least C9 can chalk up a couple themselves, but they're in a horrible position. Getting knocked down, taking so much damage from Larson, but they do get inside the blue. K-Mine, he won't, but the rest of them will.
Yeah, Welcome to South George putting out a lot of damage, but also a lot of audible cues, specifically to Optic around that southwestern bend. We saw Optic able to connect on one of the members of South George, but with this circle shifting up to the north, Tempo Storm looking pretty good.
Welcome to Miramar Circles. We never have the final. We never have a final circle. This is so much exposed area. Tempo Storms now. This compound, it kind of looks nice because it's inside inside the circle, but it's looking over from the hillside. That's where Method are running down, knocking out a Beatzer. He thought he was in a semi-safe position. That won't happen. And Enter's also in the run. But Tempo Storm, they're actually leaving their cover. They don't like this. They're going for something a little bit nicer. Well, actually, they're going for a... What are they going for? The loot crate?
This is really Tempo Storm recognizing that all of the forces left on this map are going to be directly to their south. So sort of playing off what you said, Toby, with those mountains right behind that compound, they do not want to be fending off against 1, 2, 3 teams pushing up onto them from the south. So diversify it, send it up to the northwest, and it looks like it's already paying off for them as Ben Q5 was able to find a connection onto one of the members of Entis Yak.
Okay, well that's small upside, but now they're in a big open field and those cars are their protection. It was risky to get out there, but they got out there nonetheless. As WTSG are trying to make their own run, they're up on the high side, so Entis, well, they're having trouble. Tempo Storm, maybe this was the greatest play ever. They have gotten such space that they can see everyone coming, and they only have to fight one way, a long jump down.
Allergen, the 4th and newest member of Ghost Gaming, able to do worlds around here down to the south, able to wipe out the members of Optic. At least, you know, he's going to be able to push on with McCoy for the time being, but with the blue zone shrinking in, they're going to have to make their way up north. We know that there are some serious threats. Method and Welcome to South George from Europe that are going to be looking down south in their direction. But, I mean, really the story is going to be Tempo Storm and what they're able to do up here in the northern fields. Wide open, yes, but they do have a few hay bales to look behind, as we can see right now. Entis going to be pushing up as well, but Zampa and Maluk and Dre are ready to rain down Hellfire and get those connections.
I just love they're playing their odds. They're split up. No one stays together. One hay bale per man and a car if you've got it as an extra piece. There's one little player, Allergen. You're talking about him. He was able to survive by leaving his teammates behind, but we're in this 2-2 split on the eastern side. Allergen, okay, maybe that one little problem child will be brought down by Method. They're the ones who now control the buildings that Tempo Storm used to be in.
And right now, Method's position, based off of how the teams have adjusted, it's going to be more favorable than when Tempo Storm had previously held this compound. But with 15 seconds remaining until our next circle shifts, we're kind of going to be seeing if this compound pays off.
You're hoping if you're Tempo Storm, the circle does not move south. Like
100%.
That is what you're hoping for. You're getting a lot of space to find kills as Ghost is finally eliminated out. Thank you, 5. Found the opening. They also knocked out Larson.
Yeah, they're engaging on multiple different teams right now, and that's really sort of the test of Tempo Storm right now, is whether or not they can hold off all of these threats while diversifying their guns, diversifying their lines of sights all around that southern side of the map, trying to look at both Welcome to South George and Method right now.
They're going to let Larson tick out. Gaxi can do nothing to help him. He has no cover to move forward. Method have the line of fire, and you've already seen 8C. He's moved to the front line building, so they hold position inside, and, well, okay, your boy Dre finds him deflate. Nice and close. Went for a very quick run, but Cloud9 are still on the eastern side. They were very, very visible, and now with their position revealed, Zampa opens up a Moody and Nerf.
Inside.
Maluk, perfect cover fire. They got off the res for half a second, but they get back on it. That could have been a real issue with Entis' push, but now 8C, he's got Critus locked in, and there's no way to get out. He's going to be pushed by the circle, and there's no other cover apart from the rock he's on.
Yeah, I mean, Method really in that dominant position. The compound is going to be paying off for them. Tempo Storm abandoned it. Saw it as pretty much a threat for them to stay in that area for much longer, but Zampa able to get the res onto your boy Dre. I fear, though, will Maluk and the other member of Tempo Storm be able to reunite, because that wide open field is going to create some obstacles, but for the time being, they're holding a dominant grasp on the play area left.
They need the line of fire. That's what they really, really need. Tempo Storm need to have that northern position, so Cloud9 don't feel confident enough just to try and push along the edge of the deflate and battle up against your boy Drang and Zampa, who just want to hold the deflate against Method, because they know Method are not going to be forced out of this circle. They have the edge of the compound inside of it. We have to wait for the next circle to come in, and Gaxi just trying to play underneath the radar. Nobody look at me at all. I don't want to see it. Let Tempo Storm, let Method play against it. That won't happen, however. Gaxi, he's scouted out by Method, and he's still alive for the moment.
For the moment. Tempo Storm certainly knows that Method is going to be holding that compound. They know that Gaxi is off to that southeastern position as well.
Look at a push. The second they get the knock, Zampire as well as your boy Drake. Okay, they started the movement as like they want. Cloud9 have the best position of the circle. Everyone else must come to them.
Everyone else must come to them. Method going to be trying to recover off those knocks coming from Tempo Storm. This might give Maluk and BenQ5 the opportunity off of that western side of the circle, but AT and the rest of Method are going to be spotting out these members. This is where that wide open field is really going to be playing against Tempo Storm.
Yeah, that's what Method have because they've got the second close eye over towards Gaxi. He knows. How do they want to play this position? Your boy Dre is just going to center up.
Yeah, once again, sort of playing off F-Late. He's going to be just sending his car down via snakes and see if they can't just get a better position.
This is when you want to see how many grenades Cloud9 have. Like, they make their way down, smokes across the road. And he'll find Gaxi at the tree and WTSG out in 4th position. This triple on the side is Method. Now turn, they want to push down and need to lob some very long grenades if they want to reach the 4-man. Of Tempo Storm hidden in the deflate. One nerf and Moody bide their time.
Situation, and basically the win condition for Cloud9 right now is if Method and Tempo Storm fully square off in an engagement and up whatever the scraps are. But here comes Method pushing across the road wide in the open.
Moody, he's opening up. Moody, they're doing some work. They're actually nerfed Method. They came over the ridgeline, and Cloud9 are on a huge clutch. They've only got 2 kills so far for the 3 players knocked down on the bigger teams left open. Moody, your boy Dre's just found another one. Cloud9 bring down a 4 and a 3-man team with only 2. They don't need the numbers, they just need the quality.
And now Cloud9 has UV1 situation as Moleman going to be bleeding out. X-Chris just trying to figure out where these threats are because Cloud9 has been ultimately silent for the last few minutes. The damage from that northern position.
Everybody tech, we're restricting the circle. We actually got to the final zone. It's going to center left before everybody will tick. Zampar will do his crawl forward method, at least able to get the pickup onto Moleman, so X-Chris there for his buddy in the time of need. So 2-2-1 Zampar, the sole survivor. For Tempo Storm, they were the ones with the great position. They were the ones with the least amount of players up for each team.
But now Method has the dominant position. They've got the elevated angle on top of this little... bit of road,
do they see them snaking?
A little bit of bed, and they nerf Extra is going to be spraying down with the Scar, able to find the connection. Now just movie one situation, now in favor of Method.
Yep, 9 kills already for them. They would like to actually wrap up the rest. Moody will not pop up his head because, you know, but with Method able to see down, the snakes just cannot be uncovered. But
Zampa is such an incredible player.
Cloud9 wiped out the entire Moleman, the last one standing versus Moody. It is 1v1 with a bit of a half Moleman. You're copying a lot of damage. Not exactly the position he wants to be in, and Moody is just watching the hillside, wants to get the final kill. That's a guaranteed 7 points for him as Moleman. And the final survivor, looking to the right, he's got to look further to the left, sees the head, and he clips it as well. Cloud9 have done it. They had the angle, they had the position, and smiles all round. That is one hell of a win for C9 to take.
Exactly. Of this Cloud9 roster, able to secure this first place finish, the chicken dinner, to an incredible finish for them with that new roster.
It seems like an eternity that they looked like they were on the ropes, trying to push up the hill. That it was like, what the hell is Tempo Storm doing? It made sense instantly. The second it happened, it's like they're getting fire on all these players coming down. It's like, it was, it looked good.
It
but
did.
You knew the circle shift was going to hurt hard, and they chose right, because what are you going to do? You've got the extremes. You take the north, or you take the south.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's pretty much what you can. can do, and you just hope that the circle is going to be landing in your favor. Unfortunately for Tempo Storm, it shifted down to the southeast, and they had to move across that wide open field. We saw valiant efforts coming out from your boy Dre, just trying to crash in his vehicle, trying to secure whatever sort of hold on that circle he could for the rest of his teammates. Unfortunately, just didn't play out. But Zampa, what a huge snapshot that we thought he was looking at Cloud9, but bam, snap.
I still want to give like big props to Method, even though, but they were always involved. They were on that hillside. They made it so in, and there were a lot of problems as well for rotating teams. Remember, FaZe all the way down. They got 1 point up, but everyone and Method I think was the biggest thorn on everyone's side.
Yeah, and then.
Victory. So tell me about.
I mean, that's the tough part about it. That's where your team is going to be stacked like this, Toby.
Down the winners with Cloud9.
Thank you, guys. So I'm here with K-Mind from Cloud9. Congrats on this victory.
I was not expecting it to end that way, but really good feeling.
So you came to this like the victory. So tell me, do you feel tired right after another LAN?
Yesterday. We really set up our schedule properly. I think the rest of the team feels pretty good too, so yeah, it's fine.
So, of course, somehow influences this event.
The way whatever happens, we try to just reset every single game and keep the same confidence. So,
did you see any games from the group stage?
Yeah, we've watched pretty much all.
Surprised you probably the most on this group stage?
DP, because I've never heard of him. I don't see a lot of competitive with. CIS team.
Thank you very much. I wish you good luck in further analysis panel.
Cloud9, yeah, they're recent. Winners of game number 2 here at StarSeries. C9, yeah, turning that one around. Good one-on-one scrap at the end.
I was surprised how it turned out. I mean, what the writing became on the wall, as brought up earlier, to sort of knock Method.
Oh, yeah.
That said, this is the new C9. Moody things earlier.
Featuring all of the teams one at a time, so you get to not only meet them before the games, but also focus on how a team approached an entire map.
This is a tough one to feature them in. I'll be honest, they went out in 12th place. They got 0 kills, but we'll talk about sort of their loot and their rotation style. They drop into Kumaseta, they loot it out. It's not as strong as it used to be in terms of looting since the last map change, and they tend to like to fight on foot and make short rotations. Now, they decided to push here up towards Liquid, if my memory serves me correctly. Yep. And this is what they do, is they do like to fight. The problem for me here on this next push, Avenger, is that they push Liquid, they get shot by Knights from behind, and they give up on the push. They try to escape. And for me, one of the biggest tenets of Miramar is once you commit to a push, you got to go all out with it. Because when they try to get away here, they just lose player after player after player. And ultimately, I think they end up walking away with only one, a Nocquative, who tries to sort of hide out and get them some position.
I mean, also, they came in with Knights behind them, Liquid in between them. Is a super rough position to kind of stop at as well. Not sure why they stopped. Maybe it's to get information and kind of do it off-based information. This Jeems knock here and Keen and nutty kind of 8-shot, and Nocti was left alone. Where ultimately everybody kind of came in from the west side. We had a lot of pressure from the west side, which we'll see in the later games as well.
I assume when we go to the overall replay, we'll see the Jeems shot. He led that geniusly, got the knock, got the kill. But hey, you know what? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And that was an example of Jeems saying, you know what? Why not? Let me take this. And it ended up working out on a really nice kill.
I mean, and also, he's alone here. Noctive, him being able to take 12 is actually huge performance for him. And also, like, I didn't expect him to go that far. I mean, he did sneak in as far as he could. He came in on the western side. Him taking 12th here is is kind of a win for them.
It's good, but it's 25 points. I mean, let's be honest. If you finish sub, 10, what good are you really doing for yourself?
Yeah.
Too much more than if you had taken the risk and pushed Liquid. Maybe lost 3 on that push, but survived with 1 in a better circle position and 3 kills. Sort of where you got to compare those. 12th place, 269 damage, 25 match points. Like I said, not the best match for them to sort of show themselves off, but they're a team that we said they've been training in Face It, Matt, so they haven't been practicing Miramar very much.
That's right,
and that I think is showing.
And 1 kill there, that's a big lead. That's another 7 points. That's almost a third of those points again. Here's everybody else's action with NVIDIA. There's that shot from
That was so beautiful.
That's not just
Siege just pushing salt into the wound.
Right, he took the breath away from Avenger. That's tough to do, but we saw some nice plays. This was the start of Method's transitions. Toby said they were the thorn in everybody's side in that last game, and they did make a lot of hard changes. I think they got helped a little bit by Tempo Storm, who abandoned the compound that ultimately became the saving grace for Method. Pushing past OGN before that would have been a very difficult task. OGN was on fire in this game, by the way, until they got wiped out.
OGN had a very good position. They kind of wiped everybody in the Northwest all the way through. Ghost as well here, Legend being able to kind of clutch it out, super important for them. And I think they got 6 from that. Yeah, you can see them annihilated. And of course, welcome to Sidejudge. Downside, they got 4th here, very good for them. But this is where it really turned out for them. We saw this nerf take down IT and Mallman, while Moody took down 2 members of Tempo Storm.
And they've still got 4 players in it at this time as well.
Yeah. So Tempo made this really weird transition for a lot of people, away from the compound, across the field. They wanted to lock out a majority of the circle. They made a very bold play, and I got to give them a little bit of props. That was definitely a Zampa call in my head, right? That was the kind of thing you expect from him. They made this crazy move, and they were smart. They said, if the circle favors the field, we can then advance with our cars. We can take that sort of lower area on the road, which gives us cover from where we know everyone else is going to be uphill. And they were. The thing that they weren't expecting was Cloud9, who had gotten pushed off by Vitality, sort of got forced in that little pit on the side, and they just stayed low. They didn't make any moves until they had 2 Tempo Storm players in their sights, and just boom, boom. 1-2 got the knocks, turned on Method, and Tempo, I think, thought they were fighting 2 uphill teams, not someone to their flank, and that sort of is when the wheels came off.
They knocked 2 from Method and 2 from Tempo Storm.
Yeah.
Like they knocked 4 super fast as well, these guys. And also the turn from Zampa.
Yeah.
Insane.
It was an insane flick. And I'm going to be honest here. The res that they got for Method should have been the win for them. The flick from Zampa solidified that for me. It said, okay, Zampa's going down. He knocked one of the Method guys, left Moleman, the lone survivor, or in a pretty good spot to sort of shoot down. But here's the issue for me. It went to 1v1, and Moleman got hit by the blue.
3 times.
3 times.
3 times.
That's what? That's what? 60 damage?
60 damage.
So he gave away essentially half of a spray down. And there's no way you're going to win that 1v1 when everyone's out of vests and helmets, looking downhill towards your opponent, who just happens to, I think it was Moody, right? Who just happens to be an amazing shooter from North America, when you've taken 3 shots of damage.
What should he have done? Got up
not
and moved?
Gotten in the blue.
Cool.
Yeah,
well,
I mean,
not gotten in the blue is the
wasn't
better
in the
answer.
blue,
Yeah,
so
to be fair.
They had lots of time. I mean, this circle takes 120 seconds to move towards the middle, so it moves extremely slow. Chris should maybe, after Chris got knocked, he should maybe have moved as far away as possible from Mallman, and then kind of get the information far away so that Moody has a bigger transfer of kind of area here. It was a small shift from Chris to Mallman, so if he was further away, it was maybe more like a 90-degree kind of shift.
I think what happened is they were trying to use, Chris was trying to drop back so Mullen could use him for cover, maybe take one of the bullets. The problem was when he was doing the jiggle wiggle, trying to sort of get some peak information, because Chris couldn't gather that, that's when he touched the blue. If Chris had gone downhill and scouted for him, I think they might have had a different outcome.
Let's show you our leaders of kills for that game. Moleman there with his 3. McCoy, he's popped up on a few of these during the previous 4 days of our playoffs. Christis gets on the board for OGN. Kramer, but leading all of that, just about.
There it is.
Yeah, well done, Moody.
Moody with 6 big kills. Now, Kramer with 4, not bad. Knights, I think, had an interesting play in this one. They got stuck fighting M19 in the blue. In fact, I think Knights had a pretty okay spot, and they pushed M19. Now, I wonder, Avenger, if a little bit of that is the ghost of GLL losing the 1v1 to M19, not taking home the trophy, and trying to expedite a chance to push them downhill.
What I want to show you here is that Meta got over twice the damage of Cloud9 in the same number of kills.
Wow.
Talks to the impact that they kind of had with their position and the, like the movement into the throughout the zone. They put so much pressure on all other teams. 2,300 damage to 9 kills is insane.
Yeah, and a lot of that comes, so when you're pushing as these teams, and we can get back into that in a second as we look at the leaderboard at the same time, you do a lot of damage, right? And what that is doing is it's forcing other teams to re-examine their position.
Yeah.
So maybe you hit them once or twice, they duck behind a rock, and then someone else gets the finish because you forced them into a third party. So they did a good job of forcing people around.
We've talked about teams who made it through the first 4 days. This against the 8 big boy teams from Season 1. Well, look, FaZe are down there in 15th. The Vanguard just with them. After 4 a.m. in there are 2 Vitality, who won the last game. This is looking like a tournament we know well. This is looking like a tournament where teams are going to be all over the place from one game to the next. That feels a lot like the earlier days. Knights on the wrong side again.
Well, and that's what I said. When you look at, we looked at the score originally, day one is day one, but you can't put a ton of stock in those early games as these teams go back and forth. So Knights, I mean, like we said, they're in 11th place. They've actually had a really bad start to this tournament. They're getting kills, but they're not getting placement, so I need them to sort of fix that because I expected them to do better in this tournament so far.
So we've shown you the bottom half of the leaderboard.
The top half will be legend.
Top half. Look at me. Numbers. Told you maths was coming. We love a bit of maths with PUBG. We'll go to a short break, and then we'll show you who's currently leading here at StarSeries I-League Season 2 Finals.
I'm a fighter. You can't burn me. I'm the igniter. Gonna be a legend. Gonna take it all. Watch me crush it like a wrecking ball. On fire, so high to the top is where I'm heading. Gonna be a legend. You're looking at a legend. Gonna be a legend.
One game to Cloud9, and plenty more of them to come here at StarSeries I-League Season 2 Finals. I'm Matt Andrews with Toffees, with Avenger, with loads more games to look after. And yeah, I keep saying there are loads more of them. There are. Loads. 20 games is a pretty good way to sort out a PUBG tournament, I think.
It is, and we've sort of played with a lot of different numbers, right? We have had as low as 8 games at PGI, and as many as, I don't remember what, just insane amounts, over 20. And we've sort of come down on this. 18 to 20 seems to be a pretty good spot to say, okay, the averages play out. The best teams win. The question I have now, is that the case when you throw Miramar into the mix? Because teams are really adapting and having to learn some new styles of play.
I mean, I think so. I think it's. I think we need 20 games. I think 15 is minimum if we do it Wrangle only.
Yeah.
I think 20 and maybe even 24 is something that we'll see in the future with upcoming tournaments. I think PGL already kind of announced they also want to do Miramar. So kind of what the split they're doing is interesting. But I think, as I said before, if you want to be good and you want to be the best, you want to train Miramar right now because we're gonna see qualifiers Miramar. We're gonna see qualifiers with 50-50 splits. So if you're a competitive player and you want to be at the top, if you want to go to LANs, start practicing Miramar because we can see it. Kind of all these teams, they're not used to this map. They're kind of, it looks like they're stumbling over places they haven't seen before a lot of times.
That's the top half of the game we've just seen. Cloud9 winning it and being best for kills, joint best with Method. So loads of points for them. And at the top as well. Not one of those games where one team wins it, but another team body everybody. Tempo Storm in third, WTSG in fourth, and OGN up there as well. Ghost and Optic, look, neighbors.
Not one of those games
where,
like you said, not a team where one team bodies everybody, but a team where the top half significantly bodied everybody else. And I think that comes down to sort of the landscape on this particular fight, is every one of those teams that made it to the final grouping really earned their position, and nobody had a free ride. Sometimes you'll see that the last team maybe gets 4 or 6 kills, and a lot of that comes from the other team they were fighting at the end. These guys, I mean, we're down to like third partying the final circle, for crying out loud. So I think everyone in that game can like really sit back and say, we played that really well. We fought our way to that victory and be really confident going forward today. And I think that for me is bad news for everyone except Cloud9. I think Cloud9 gets a lot of confidence off this win and becomes a little bit scary going forward.
Yeah, an early win for any team is, you know, that good start. And I think when you've not been in this arena this time around, obviously they were here in Season 1, or they wouldn't be invited back as the top 8 from Season 1. You know, they've just been in Hong Kong, had a good performance there. You turn up here, you go 15th in your first game.
Well, yeah, I mean, you've got a new roster. You win Hong Kong, you come in here and take the second game on Miramar in a really strong win.
Yeah.
That is just momentum. And PUBG's a momentum game. I mean, you've played at the highest level. Momentum has a huge impact.
It's a huge impact. We see it also from FaZe when they kind of start a really good second or third day, then kind of just body all the way through the snowball effect, effectively. And as you said, I mean, Moody's the only player that were here the last time. 3 new players to the roster kind of just recently go to Hong Kong. This is a huge momentum booster. I think it's going to be very good for them for the rest of the games. And also, we talked about it multiple times, but I think Cloud9 is actually a top contender at the moment for this LAN.
I mean, they should be. Like the World Invitational we just had in Hong Kong. Like, that wasn't insignificant. That wasn't them against a bunch of teams we'd never heard of before. Big opposition were there. Those big opposition can't complain about anything here either. They've all come from Hong Kong. They've all been here, you know, a day or two now. Yeah, jet lag might still be a bit rough, sure. But it's not like one of those teams are coming in and going, oh, we've just flown in across loads of time zones, and you lot have all been in Kiev for ages. FaZe have just come in with this thing. They've all got, well, they've all got actually very little in it. Check that out as our standings go for the moment. Tempo Storm at the top with 359, and a slim lead over Method, best of the 8 teams who were with us earlier on in the week. Vitality up in third, and then Cloud9 and Liquid in some big names.
A lot of consistency already. Tempo Storm top 3 twice. Method are also up there. They got second here, and they got 7th in before this. So they, to me, talks to a top-heavy leaderboard, especially when we're through with more games, of course.
I think MVP and Gen G both on equal points for the South Korean teams who impressed us so much. Standings between the top 2 of the tournament so far. Equal on kills, but again, loads of damage as we saw. Really, Method got most of that score in that last game.
Yep. Many of these teams have taken a chicken dinner, and I think what you're going to see is consistency will become paramount, especially as we go out of day 1. These 2 teams, 7 and 2, and then I think 2 and 4 respectively in terms of placement. So teams that can consistently do that and then maybe get 1 or 2 bonus circles to take home a chicken dinner during this tournament are the ones who will come out top 5. Very impressed with their play so far. Tempo seems to really be clicking. I feel like they've been off a little bit lately. Like BenQ hasn't felt like he really has hit his stride for me in some of the games, but we saw some beautiful shots to him out of that field. So I feel like maybe he's starting to feel a little bit better about his play, a little more confident, and that could be a really strong Tempo Storm. But again, C9, man, huge.
Talking of Tempo Storm, we haven't featured them yet. Now it seems like it would be a very good time to feature Tempo Storm. So let's feature Tempo Storm. There they are.
Hello, my name is DeAndre, your boy Dre Bond, and I play for Tempo Storm. Zampa and Ben are mainly fraggers. They're mainly the guys in the front doing most of the damage, and Luke is a shot caller and a support player, and I'd say I'm a flanker and secondary shot caller. But before this tournament, practice is mainly just scrims, and with the new facer that came out, been playing a lot of that as well. We spread the loot like pretty much whoever's feeling it. Like pretty much anyone on our team can snipe. I'd say Zampa's probably our main sniper when he feels like it. But pretty much whatever we feel like playing is what we'll use. My first experience with PUBG was actually on Twitch. I was watching Shroud play it, and it looked really fun, so I decided that I'd buy it, and it was one of my favorite games. When it's a 1v1 and I have the zone, I'm mainly just going to play smart. I'm just going to take smart peeks and not overcommit and let the zone push him in and win the 1v1.
That was the smart playing. Yeah, boy, Dre talking about Tempo Storm. He's confident in a one-on-one as long as he's in the right place.
I love him. I mean, Shroud may question the validity of the pro scene, but he's given us one of my favorite North American pros, apparently, by inspiring Dre. So big shout out to him for doing that.
Oh, don't give shouts to Shroud. He gets
I mean, at the end of the day, Dre has been a force in North American Dota. He's been one of those fraggers. If you ever had the pleasure to play with Dre, you literally just follow him around for 35 minutes because the guy goes for kills. He's very good at what he does. He's a quiet personality on screen, but in game, he's a big personality, and he goes for what he wants. So, you know, we talked about the Zampa call to the field, and you made a joke about it eventually. Like, and I'm sure that Dre was like, yeah, buddy, let's do it, right? And I think that they make a really good 1-2 punch combo for this team, with Maluk sort of being this Jiminy Cricket character for me of, is that the right call? Okay, let's do it. And I think that they've really had a good synergy.
Flesh out this Jiminy Cricket reference for me.
Okay, so I do think that there's a value to having a player on the team who is the conscience of the team, right? Sometimes you get over aggressive, sometimes you get caught up in the moment, sometimes you're being passive, and it's that guy who's always sort of looking at the big picture that brings a lot of value to the lineup. That's to my Jiminy Cricket, yeah. You know, because he always sat on Pinocchio's shoulder and was like, hello, don't do that then.
He's playing free cell right now. Just on the screen.
So you got to keep yourself.
In our free cell international. Go for it. I'll cast him.
But great stuff. So Liquid coming out. I think GLL wasn't as good as they wanted it to be. They've been going through some roster stuff. Most of us are aware that Scoom will be leaving the team. Probably not for M19 anytime soon after his tweets today. But he's in free agency, looking for somewhere to go. And I think that it speaks to the professionalism of the entire team, that even in that situation, because it's really tough, Matt, to know you're leaving a team but still come in and play at your full potential, that they're performing very well. They're
performing extremely well. I mean, I think it also talks to, like, you said, I mean, professional, professional kind of style to it. Scoom wants to perform no matter if he's like been benched and everything. He wants to perform, wants to show his best. His individual skill is through the roof, and I'm in no doubt within a few weeks we're going to see something coming up from him.
There's a lot of laughter on Method's team there. Not surprising, really. They must be in really good spirits right now. Out of all the 8 teams who were here earlier on in the week, they are currently doing the best, and I wouldn't have picked them for that at this stage, but it is so early.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they brought in a good free agent that's doing very, very well for them, and sort of Andy Stead, as he's not here to play with them right now. Rafi has been very, very impressive for me, but I want to talk about these guys showing vitality here. New team, they struggled at GLL. Everybody at GLL kept saying, these guys don't have any expectations. There's no expectations for vitality. And I talked to the players, and they're like, well, that's stupid. We want to be the best. We believe we can be the best. And maybe they're finally finding their footing as an amalgamation of 2 teams instead of just a new vitality. And it seems like that could be really strong. But this guy, Moody, man, what a fragger.
Moody has been a dominant force throughout a long time in the NA scene. Happy to see them take a win, by the way, here.
And also, you notice the blonde hair. He had a sub goal on his stream, and he hit it, and they forced him to bleach his hair. So that's why you're seeing him with what I think actually looks pretty good. New hairstyle.
Looks pretty good.
Kind of works, doesn't it?
Yeah, kind of fun.
We'll go to game number 3 on Miramar, day 1 of our finals. Heading up there.
Another good plane. We've had a lot of middle splits on these planes. Miramar is one of those places, like, if you favor looting an area, you can totally get cut off from it because the plane goes hard north, hard south, or something like that. But so far, everything has been viable, with the exception of maybe Valdemar for Optic in this one. Optic did jump early, so there still is a chance that they grab cars and go there anyway.
We've seen them loot south of Las Zonas as well, so they can do both. They can even split it if they want to. Go spot the Paraiso. Let's see where they're going to go.
Vitality won the opening game, Cloud9 won the second, and Toby1 and Esquire will find out who gets the 3rd chicken dinner.
Yeah, we're kind of just chilling here to the sounds of the waves.
It's very soothing.
You know, it's like one of those soundtracks you hear just before you go to sleep, right?
The white noise,
just whales.
A little rainforest will come in as well.
Yeah. It's like,
whales that's our southeast north plane.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the unprofessional cast of me and Esquire. I'm your host, Toby1. You may remember me from such things as the North American Dota scene. Thank you, Toppies. We didn't miss that one. That was terrific. I love it. All right, let's get into it. Where's everyone dropping in? Everyone's coming. We're coming back again.
Yeah, we are coming back down to the south. These guys are not going to be shifting north. We saw north, north, north in our qualifying rounds, but this time, at least 2 out of 3 games going to be dropping us down.